Across the universe and across the time zones, it's time for Type 40 Live. Type 40 Live's Christmas Doctor Who party. Hello, yes. Hello, everybody. Who have we got watching? Oh, fair few. Welcome to Dan's Grotto, a.k.a. the Type 40 console room, of course, looking very, very seasonal. Rosie's all decked out. Yeah, deck the Dalek. And we're the best channel that you never heard of. We're the Spacebook, and I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's King of the Elves. And this is, this is the Type 40 Christmas Live Party, or Live Christmas Party, whichever way you want to arrange those around. It's all fine by me. We're going to talk Christmas past, present, and maybe even future, the Type 40 way, with lots of silliness and, lots of Christmas memories and lots of guests. I've got a toy room full here of little helpers. Well, some more little than others. Just looking at them. And I think they're all on the outside of a few sherries already, so things are looking up. Watch out for the randomness and a spot of stuffing. Easy, Tiger. Hands off the crackers for now, but we have lots and lots of party games and various other things to work our way through with our panel of regular voices. And yes, if you want to join in, of course, there's the chat, the live chat, and the comment section. You can join in with your Christmas memories if you want to say hello, get involved, or put a question to us here at Type 40. Right, who have we got so far? Let's see who we can drop in. Oh, of course, there he is. He's just got off the bus actually from Lapland, I understand, where he's just finished a shift in the toy room. Simon Horton, welcome back.
It's me. well, hello, and a Merry Christmas to you, Dan.
Merry Christmas to you too. Welcome to our wintry wonderland. What do you think?
I just think it's fabulous. I've got my Christmas jumper on. I'm all set to go. This hat's really, really hot. My head, I'm sure, is overheating already. And I've got a cup of tea.
Like a good idea. Oh, it seems like a good idea at the time. Putting these hats on when you're about to go on YouTube, if any of you know about this. Oh, yeah, with the cans as well. I think I need some earbuds or whatever else instead. And so it's two hats for Neil so far. Let's throw in another hat. She's here. Yes, it's Starry-Eyed Girl, Christmas Starry-Eyed Girl. Sarah Grant. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Oh, there's only me on the water. Merry Christmas to you too. I love those mugs. Those are the proper homeware mugs, aren't they?
They are. They're beautiful.
And look at your tree.
Is fantastic, Sarah. Look
Thank you.
Loving the tree.
I have got a Christmas tree. In case you're thinking it looks very humbuggy here, I have got a Christmas tree, but it's in the other room, unfortunately. What can I do?
You should drag it in at least.
I could drag it in. I did contemplate actually dragging the computer in there, but it just all got a little bit fraught at the last moment.
Let's drag another couple of people in instead. Here we are. It's JT.
Christmas 2020. Yeah.
What it is.
Yeah, exactly.
The only way to go.
Yep.
Wow.
We're making history here, everybody.
And
hello, Spacebookers.
Another spectacular tree. Hello.
That is a spectacular
That's
tree.
so glamorous, JT. I love it.
That tree is like overdrive, that tree is. How many lights are there actually on there?
Let me just say, look, it's me.
We had no idea.
Our favourite Christmas elf, Mr. JT, back in the console room.
Yay.
We're going to get a mega Christmas going on now. Let's see what's going on with Ian David Diaz. Welcome. Merry Christmas, mate.
Merry Christmas.
Hello.
Tucked away in his grotto there.
That's right. I've got Santa. There we go.
Hello, Santa.
Dance,
Hi,
Santa, dance. Dance.
Have you got a clap or something?
Wibbly wobbly Santa. We've got a wibbly wobbly timey wimey. We've got wibbly wobbly Jolly Belly. Yes, that's almost as good. And finally, also joining us this time, it's our friend Charlotte Shields. Welcome, Charlotte. Merry Christmas.
Hello. I think it's without the Christmas stuff.
Hello.
You made the effort.
How are we? How many sleeps is it till Christmas now, everybody? Anybody know?
10, is it? I think it's about 10.
Was it nice?
I don't know. And
Look
when I
on
was a
there.
kid, I
Look
used
on
Let's
there,
start with the technical stuff, shall we? Stuff about time
Yeah,
travel.
it's not with the difficult question, why don't you, Dan? We weren't prepped for that.
Talking about what we're going to do, we're going to say hello to the chat because a few
Yeah.
people watching here, and we'll see who's in, and then I'm going to start
Um,
asking some difficult or maybe not questions. Let's see who's here with us. We've got Lord Thoth. Welcome, Lord Thoth. Merry Christmas.
Hello.
We've got Vanessa here.
Ah.
She's
Hello,
working her
Vanessa.
Hello,
system.
Vanessa.
Had some problems the other day.
Hello, Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa. Back
You're
in a
awesome
few,
too,
we have
Vanessa.
the Script Doctors, not just the Script Doctors, the Script Doctors live. Greetings and Yuletides all.
Hello, Neil.
Hi,
Hi,
Neil. Good
Neil.
to see you, mate. Good to see you. And Christian Basil from the Legend of the Travelling TARDIS says, Merry Christmas, my fellow Whovians. Merry Christmas right back
Christian.
to you and all your kith and kin. Who else is here? It's all going off. Lots of people exchanging
I spied
conversation.
a problem being in the chat.
Probably.
There he is.
No, my iPad. I think he means
Hello.
on his iPad. He's actually
I'm on my iPad. Okay, then. I love the way you're going to try and translate some of these.
because people have started drinking already. Oh, here we are. It's on my iPad, and the kids
yeah, okay.
are a little unresponsive, as you can see. Names don't autofill. So excuse me.
Mm.
You're
It's quite
excused.
all right.
You're
Oh,
excused.
excuses, problem, excuses.
Yeah, I think it's sherry. It's nothing to do with sticking buttons. It's sherry.
Yeah, before we get stuck in too deeply into this big Christmas pudding of a live stream,
Yes.
I should do
Stop
what
poking
Vanessa
at me.
reminded me to do and say, please hit that like button.
Hit the like.
Subscribe to the channel. Come on, you know you want to. It's Christmas. Consider it a Christmas gift to us for all these live streams. Yes, subscribe to the channel and
Please
share
subscribe.
the video. We want people to join the party, have fun. We're streaming live to YouTube and to Facebook right now. In front of a whole... It's a merry band, isn't it? I think a merry Christmas band. Who else is here? We can't start drinking yet. Only 11 a.m. here in Ottawa. Lord Thoth is here.
Oh, you're from Ottawa. I got
Just
friends. that
pretend
live
it's
in Ottawa.
11 p.m.
I love Ottawa. Ottawa is a great little, tiny little place.
Absolutely marvellous.
Love it.
Okay, I think like all Christmas parties, it should start with a really awkward. We can't do the awkward Christmas dance, can we? So the awkward Christmas questions. Okay, here's a question. Who's going first? Who wants to go? I'll shuffle my questions. This is Doctor Who Trivial Pursuit. Here we are. Simon, let's bring back a few memories.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
This is
If it's
this'll-
modern Who, you can count me out.
Yeah. This is great because I've got the Doctor Who Trivial Pursuit and never opened it being a collector. So this is brilliant.
Well, this is Marks and Spencer's very
Oh,
own.
right. Yep.
This is not your common or garbage.
Ooh.
It's
Yeah.
very, very posh. Simon, here's your question.
Okay.
Who did the Master possess and manipulate against the Eighth Doctor?
Oh, Yi Jitsu.
It's not the answer on the card. But
But it's also
I'm
correct.
going to be useless at
It's
this.
Christmas, so I'm going to give you that.
Is it
I'm
Grace?
going to be useless at this.
Dr.
Totally
Grace
useless at
Holloway.
it.
Is it Grace?
Bruce.
Oh, Bruce!
Dr.
Also?
Grace.
No, hold on. He did kind of manipulate Yi Jitsu as well, didn't he?
He manipulated everybody, didn't he, Ian? He did. That's
And Grace.
with you. Sarah, here's yours. What story did K9 first appear in 1977?
The Invisible Enemy.
Hey!
Yeah, that really is
Great.
well. I like
Great.
that.
Yeah, and that is your turn now, JT.
I'm out.
Yeah, so am I.
In what year did the Daleks make their first TV appearance? 1963, 1964, or 1965?
63.
Yay! Yes, I think they're some of these are more difficult than others, but how are we getting on in the chat? It's not just Trivial Pursuit, Marks and Spencer's Trivia. It is indeed.
Very good. See what he did there? Like
Yeah,
it.
you did.
I know robotic reindeer in a Doctor Who Christmas special. I don't know why they haven't done any robotic reindeer. Now you come to mention it,
Well, they don't do Christmas specials anymore, do they? So
It's a good point. Good
Yeah.
point.
They sort of
Oh,
kept though with the Santa things, didn't they? They kept with the
Yeah.
Santa robots for a few
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, which
Pilot
appeared 2
fish.
years running. I always thought that was a little bit cheap.
Ian, here's your question.
I'm not going to know it.
Which-
Go ahead.
On which planet would you find the Eye of Harmony?
Gallifrey? I have no idea. No idea.
Yay!
Yeah.
And finally, Charlotte, I'm giving you a couple. There we are.
Although, of course, if we're being really questionable there, no, sorry,
No, don't go down that one.
no, we won't go there. No.
Do not open that can of worms.
Charlotte, in 2009, Planet of the Dead aired as Doctor Who's 200th adventure. Is that true or false?
Oh God, trust me to get this one. I was gonna say false.
No, it's true. Ah! No, never mind.
Was it really? I didn't know that.
We did okay there. Yes.
Santa.
So now we've had the obligatory embarrassing quiz over and done with. How are we? Simon, who's your mascot? Who's your Christmas mascot this time?
This is Dippy the dinosaur. For anybody that hasn't seen before, this is an original prop for Invasion of the Dinosaurs. It is, seriously. And so he's got a Christmas hat on today. Obviously, little
Fabulous.
Dippy's got his Christmas hat on.
Yeah.
I didn't recognise him. He looks because he looks so seasoned.
Well, he's had a bit of a spruce up since Invasion of the Dinosaurs. He's had a makeover. You see, he's had his pedicure done and his manicure, especially for Christmas. So that's why he looks a little bit different to how he looks.
He's a
in
bit of a
1964.
diva. He's a bit of a
It's a
diva.
genuine
Very
prop,
high maintenance.
everyone. Genuine prop.
Fabulous.
Yeah. Okay, just to remind people, if this is your first Type 40 or Type 40 Live, it's only fair to remind you that if you fancy doing a spot of time travelling of your own, every edition of this show, past, present, or future, is just a tap away on the device of your choice, whether it's Sonic or not. And there's links to all of that coming up a little later on, as well as a check-in with the matrix of all knowledge that we call the Fandom Podcast Network. That's coming up later on in the show. You know, considering it's the Christmas season, everybody, although we're all in the Christmas spirit, obviously, not everybody is. And I've read that Netflix, get this, Netflix have announced that they are pulling Doctor Who off their schedules in January. And they've only got to announce that in the run-up to Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you watch it, they have the little sign at the top saying that they're going to get rid of it.
January the 1st, it comes off. What's your problem? What's your problem? No, they've got up to Series 10. That's it, isn't it?
But aren't they losing all those too? Aren't they losing absolutely everything?
It's all coming off, but it was either that or take two others.
I presume also, I don't know. I'm guessing they're going to be on a contract, and so the contract has come to an end, and they're either not renewing it, or maybe the BBC isn't renewing it. I guess.
Well,
BBC,
they want it on BritBox, don't they? So
of course. Well, it is.
So.
Is it still on BritBox? It is on BritBox.
I was going to say,
I thought they were going on to HBO Max as well.
yeah, I was going to say,
Yes.
I thought this was HBO Max. They're
No,
going to be the new home.
But that's the Americans. That's the Americans over here. They want this new Who on BritBox, don't they? So,
Charlotte, do we have HBO Max in the UK now? Then is that here?
I have no idea. To be
No,
honest.
we don't.
Taking
We don't.
attention.
we don't.
So it wouldn't surprise me if it's being rested for a little while, and then they bring it back later next year or the year after, and include the Chibnall era with it. But it says a lot that they're removing it right now. Though for myself, I look at that and thought that's an interesting decision. January the 1st, taking it all off air.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Very
Their
neat.
contract's up.
It says here in the article. It says here in the article, since 2013, Doctor Who has been a near permanent fixture on the Netflix UK library, with each new exciting season eventually making its way into the hands of subscribers. But fans will have to say goodbye to the beloved British sci-fi series one last time. Yeah, so my guess was that they, maybe it will turn up at BritBox, but I've forgotten all about that. HBO Max, Charlotte. So, Ian,
I know.
Sorry, Charlotte, what was that?
No, I'm pretty sure that was like a big part of the marketing for HBO Max, that they said, oh, we're the new home for. I don't think Classics go into HBO. I think that's the thing. It's all current new Who that
Americans
they've got.
don't know the classics. They don't know.
They don't have them now. I don't understand how that would affect Britain though, because this is Netflix UK that have made this decision, not Netflix America. And HBO doesn't have a presence here in Britain.
Well,
So I don't
maybe
think it's
what made two things, as Simon points out, maybe their contracts run out, or basically BBC One wants it on their platform, which is BritBox.
Yeah, and interestingly, I can see in the comments, Colin P. Smith has said, "Why BritBox? Wouldn't it be on iPlayer anyway?"
Yes,
Well, no,
I was
of
gonna
course
say,
it wouldn't,
yeah.
because they want to make money out of it. It's the biggest money. Doctor Who's the biggest money spinner on BritBox, and that's why you're not getting it on iPlayer, because nowadays the BBC's all about just making money. Let's just squeeze those last pounds out of everybody.
They will put the new one on iPlayer. I reckon.
Doctor
Yes.
Who is still on iPlayer. If, as we were talking about last week, they put the next series, whichever one it is now, the next Chibnall series, directly onto iPlayer, it could be a way of them looking at where it's going to go and what footing it's going to place in the future.
They will. They'll put it on iPlayer.
You never know. It might just be a case of Netflix have had enough.
yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? Because
part of me.
yeah.
Go, Charlotte.
Sorry, I should say the cynical part of me thinks that possible rumor that they could just dump it on iPlayer. It's a handy way to hide those ratings that everybody keeps talking about.
Yes,
that's why they want to do that. That's why they want to do that. And also the budget has gone down. The budget for the new series has gone down drastically, and they can't, because of COVID, they can't film in other countries as well. So they have to bring the budget down, and they have to make sure that it fits within the confines that they're in. So there you go. So it's definitely going to end up there, because they don't want us to see how many people are not watching it. So there you go.
Didn't Doctor Who leave Netflix UK at one point anyway, a few years back?
One point, and then came back.
Yeah.
In a world where we're all connected via social media and we all watch these things together and talk about them pretty much at the same time, it's easy to forget, isn't it, that across continents, that the Doctor Who property and several other properties aren't actually on the same platforms. So there's people watching now in the live chat. I didn't even realise it was still on Netflix. So Script Doctors Live, because it isn't where the Script Doctors Live is. And problem being, who is in the UK says US Netflix got rid of Doctor Who ages ago. So there's a little bit of confusion there. I think the confusion there would do some good.
What I think is also really, really interesting that I sort of twigged onto a couple of years ago is that young people, young people don't even realise that Doctor Who is made by the BBC. We take that for granted as well. So a lot of young people just don't watch BBC at all. They catch stuff on Netflix, Amazon Prime, whatever. So because they see Doctor Who on Netflix, they have no concept that it's made by the BBC in the first place. And so there's no drive on them to sort of get their license or anything like that purely to watch Doctor Who. Because as far as they're concerned, it's on Netflix, it's on wherever, HBO in America, you name it, it's all over the shop.
Well, as far as they're concerned, Doctor Who started with Chris Eccleston.
For some of them think that.
That's fair enough. That's a reasonable enough argument, but I do find it kind of strange that they don't even realise the BBC make it. But I get why. I do understand why, because the BBC is just sort of, last century, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yep. And Vanessa reminds us here in the chat, it's only the past New Who on streaming at the moment.
It is.
There we are. We do have, so somebody got a Christmas present early. This picture was put out yesterday, and I would imagine that you've all seen it, but here it is for you anyway. Here's this happy little camper, you see? With his brand new, his first new Doctor Who script in 15 years. There's Christopher.
With the correct logo on it, yes.
Am I the only one thinking that he looks like a little old woman there?
No, he looks ill, doesn't he?
Doesn't look well at all.
It could be the angle of the picture. How old?
It's the colour of the hair. That colour of hair doesn't suit him.
How old's Chris Eccleston now? Do you think, Sarah?
How old, guys? Is it 50s?
55, I would guess at 55 as a pure guess.
It must be in his mid to late 50s. Yeah, I know he does a lot of running, Chris Eccleston.
He does seem to have aged an awful lot since his Doctor Who days. He really has aged.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him in a programme recently and was amazed at how much he'd aged. Bless him.
This was put out on Twitter in mid-December by Christopher Eccleston. That's him with the front page of his first new Doctor Who script in 15 years.
He's overcome, isn't he?
Called Ravages by Nicholas Briggs.
Well, that's why he's overcome.
The book set is called Ravages. The first story is called The Sphere of Freedom. And he's holding it up. You can't quite make out who else is in the cast. But
you say it's written by Nick Briggs. That's odd. You don't see much Big Finish written by Nick Briggs, do you?
No. It's in that cast underneath where it says the Dr. Christopher Eccleston. Does that say Rose?
I think it's. I was trying to work that out. I think it says Nova.
Nova, right?
But it could be a new character, or
it could be before. It could be before he's met Rose. All this stuff.
That's an awful picture. An awful picture. They should have got a better picture.
Yeah, I agree. It's not very flattering to him. It doesn't make him look cool, does it? For honest, in the way that the Ninth Doctor was cool.
Oh, the way he is cool as well. Yeah,
and he's cool. Yeah, he's a cool.
He is.
He's
very cool. Yeah.
He may have taken it. He may have taken it himself.
I don't think so. Well, I hope he didn't.
But just in case anybody needs a reminder, Christopher Eccleston was announced as joining Big Finish earlier on this year and issued this quote: "After 15 years, it will be exciting to revisit the Ninth Doctor's world, bringing back to life a character I love playing." So there he is in his...
What a turncoat. What a turncoat. I'll never go back to Doctor Who ever again. Oh, I need money. Let me go back to Big Finish and... Yeah, what the hell? What the hell, man? Come on. Come on.
Did he actually say that?
I don't remember him actually saying that.
He didn't actually say that, but because of what
was doing reference to the BBC and the
that's what I don't think he said that. No, but that's what he meant. He didn't want to come back to it at all.
Well, I mean, it's happened before. It happened with McGann. It happened with Tom. In that certain things happen behind the scenes that we eventually get to hear of, and anyone's bound to turn around and say, right, well, I'm not going back to that again. But you know, after 15 years, you age a bit. Plenty of water goes on the bridges. The money plays a big deal for them.
Daniel Craig did it with James Bond.
That's right.
Yeah, and he's considered he's now got the convention circuit as well, where he's getting paid decent amounts of money for that. So you know, that helped him with his successful book as well. So there we go. You know
what? It's fine by me as long as we get to hear him. I don't mind. People are entitled to change their minds, and this is a big show. It's a big franchise with a lot of history. I don't really mind. We have got a fresh quote from Chris Eccleston this morning, though. Oh God, yes, he has said this morning. Christopher Eccleston jokes he'll return to Doctor Who on TV when hell freezes over.
He's obviously seen the current scripts.
In an interview with Lorraine Kelly this very morning, as we record this, Eccleston is currently recording the first volume of Doctor Who, The Ninth Doctor Adventures, set for release in May 2021. But in an appearance this morning on ITV's Lorraine, mind you, he was speaking to Lorraine. I think, I think a lot of people probably feel the same way.
Well, everything else has happened this year. We've had aliens landing and everything, so why not hell freezing up?
Yeah, God, that's the last thing we need at the moment. It's aliens turning up when we don't look our best. We have. I'm on my way to do the second day of recording of audio adventures on the Ninth Doctor for a company called Big Finish, and it's written by an excellent writer called Nicholas Briggs, who's also the voice of the Daleks. He said, and when pressed as to whether he might now pop up again in the TV series, Eccleston grinned and said, "I know what you're getting at, Lorraine, but only when hell freezes over." They had to end their call shortly afterwards. He was there to promote the Big Issue magazine, for the homeless. That obviously they put out a big Christmas number every year, don't they? So he was there for a good cause. And Lorraine tried to get under the radar there, Sarah. You might know.
Yeah, but it's good though. I mean, he was. I guess he was referring to the bad time that he had as Doctor Who when he was there. It'd be really nice to believe that he said that because of the current show. So it would be really nice to know if that was what he meant. But I reckon he meant obviously dealing with the BBC when he was there. I guess that's what he meant.
And I assume maybe he's never actually made up with the BBC. I don't know.
Probably not.
Has he ever appeared on the BBC since Doctor Who at all?
I think one thing. The
A word. The A word is on the BBC, isn't it? Wasn't the
A word Sky produced though?
Yes, it's an independent production. So
it wasn't for them. I mean, the BBC did put him out of work for nearly 3 years.
Well, more so than that.
Well, unless arguably he put himself out of work. Again, we never really quite got to the truth of that one.
Well, no, but if you believe what was going on the circuits and what was being told in the industry, there was a blacklist, and that famous blacklist had his name on it for a little while.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we don't know quite what happened behind the scenes, what he did to put himself on the blacklist. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying we don't know which argument do you believe?
Well, no, but what I'm saying is that blacklist does exist or did exist in the BBC when it shouldn't have done.
Sure,
and if you got onto that, you were out of work, and he happened to be out of work for nearly 3 years. So 2 and 2 together.
It is that blacklist does exist.
Yeah, it does.
Really
A few people on it over the years.
Yeah, we have some Christopher Eccleston related art. We like a bit of fan art here at Type 40. We've got this lovely picture here.
Oh yeah,
not very Christmassy, but I quite like it anyway. What do you think?
Love it.
Oh, I love
It really,
it.
Nice.
it really captures it, and it's almost like a Christmassy sky. I think.
Yeah.
What do you think? A little
It's
bit of a
very-
Christmassy sky.
It's very akin to the 1980s Doctor Who magazine comic strips.
Yeah, so I was just going to say that, JT.
I was going to say it's got
Nice
a massive
colours.
comic feel to it. The
Yes,
way
lovely,
they've
isn't it?
drawn it definitely looks comic.
Mm.
And we have the first of our Christmas visitors. Buzzing the doorbell, about to pop round, hoping to see if there's any stuffing left or any, whatever it is. Yes, here he is. It's the rabbi from another planet. Say hello to Sfina Betkin.
Hello!
Hello there.
Ho, ho, ho. Oi, oi, oi.
It's Santa.
Loving the hat. Merry Christmas.
As I was walking to my computer, you started the Chrysler Eccleston conversation. Listen. I'm sure money's a factor for everyone. People don't do work without being paid, and if you do work without being paid, that's not good. You should be paid for work, right? I genuinely believe he had a terrible experience making Doctor Who with the first. I think with the first director, he really fell out, and I think he felt very betrayed by Russell T Davies for not having his back. I think that was. Hopefully, it was a misunderstanding. I would really like to hope they could get back together again. But my feeling is that he's being very. I think he's being very genuine, which is why I think he's a good actor. I don't think he can't be genuine. I think he just and I think he hasn't spilt the beans about what really happened in a big way. But he felt the way of it, and he's gone through a process of healing, and he's started it. And it took him 10 years before he could do the convention circuit. I think just being around fans and seeing how much fans love him and loved his portrayal. I think money's a factor, obviously. I just don't think Big Finish is paying that much money to make it
I think it's
not enough to pay somebody's mortgage.
In my opinion, he did appreciate what he had, even when he was in the Marvel film. Afterwards, he was slagging them off as well.
He hated it.
Yeah, he hated that experience.
That
He
was all tied into the same thing.
Right? Oh, really? Doctor Who and Marvel.
Look, he's a man of integrity. He's a man of principle.
He took that job.
Work on the value.
Yeah, that and G.I. Joe are from what he said, is like the worst points of his life creatively.
I think basically he is a very serious actor, and sometimes, like, I've met a lot of actors, and I've met actors like Chris, and sometimes they take their jobs too seriously instead of appreciating what's coming towards them. They basically don't, and they basically want everything to be perfect, and they also want to be proven as an actor. This is the frustrating thing. I think Chris is frustrated that people haven't appreciated him as a solid actor, and like someone like I guess Brad Pitt or someone like that. He believes that's where he belongs. Listen, this is just a guess.
No, I don't believe.
I think more like Daniel Day-Lewis than Brad Pitt.
Way off base. I think Chris Eccleston picks his work very, very carefully. Yeah. I think he's I think he works very closely with his agent to round on the sorts of things that he could do that could be good for him, and over time, I think he reflects. I think he's very, very, very honest in a way that a lot of people simply aren't. And when we see people speaking candidly, and we see humanity, we see humility coming from somebody who's in that line of work. As you say, and you've worked with a lot of actors. Yeah, we obviously. We sometimes don't recognise it. It's the way a human being would speak, and what we could view as quite contrary responses and quotes are just people rolling with life's punches a little. Rabbi, you're not going to get away you're not going to get into the console room without answering one of our trivia questions. Here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Here we go. Out of the pack. I've been shuffling them the entire time. Here we go. Here is your trivia question. It's one of the ones from earlier. Okay,
pick another card.
Here's your trivia question.
Give me this one. Give me the next one. I want another one. I'll take it.
Who is Amelia Williams better known as?
Amy Pond.
Hey, correct.
Yeah, give me a challenge.
No flies on him. No flies on him.
Don't blame me. If they're too
easy,
blame Marks and Spencer's. They set the
We had way harder questions than that.
Yeah, I think I had a much harder question than that one personally.
Well, and listen, I think I'm a bit embarrassed by that. Give me another one.
Okay, here you go. Shuffle again.
This is Marks and Spencer's for you. These cards, like their pants, have dropped off.
Oh God, I'm not giving you that one. That's ridiculous. That was what phrase the Daleks known for? find a good one.
Pay up front.
Okay.
Pay up front.
Rabbi, here is take 2. Rabbi's question. What were the Daleks' servants called during their battles with the Third Doctor?
Oh, Ogrons. I was like, well, I was going for all different ones. Ogrons.
Ogrons. That's not quite.
Ogrons are not the current era, obviously. But Ogrons are due for a bit of a comeback. I think they should have had them. Also, I was watching a new era story. I thought had like some 8-byte thing. I thought, well, that should have been an Ogron. What was I think? I can't remember what it was.
I think they've missed numerous opportunities to bring back characters like the Ogrons, haven't they, Simon? And old classic monsters like that. We've often spoken about this, haven't we, on the podcast? It's like, why weren't they this? Why wasn't it the Rani? Why wasn't it the Mandrels?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities.
The Mandrels again.
There's a lot of opportunities they could take if they don't.
One of the returning monsters that always annoyed me the most was the Macra. Not because they brought the Macra back, but because it was in Gridlock, right? Gridlock and the Macra were living in the motorway, but everybody been killed by this whatever it was 100 years ago. They should have had the Macra had done the plot to do whatever it is to New York, and not have them been devolved into giant crabs. Like, have the Macra be still like intelligent. That would have been better. RTD, where were you? You should have called me.
Where was Russell T Davies was the man, of course, who knew. He knew what we knew, didn't he? That Doctor Who and Christmas did belong together, and that proper Doctor Who specials that I certainly never got when I was growing up, not proper ones, that it was long overdue that we get one of those. And over a period of, I can't remember how many Christmases now, the best part of 13, 14 Christmas specials, it was a fixture of everybody's Christmas day. You could say it was a bit of a ritual. I don't know about you guys. I mean, obviously, I'd had my big Christmas dinner by that point, but I would sit down with the Doctor Who special, eat a satsuma, as I'm doing now, and drink something I probably shouldn't. But I was wondering, Simon, have you ever had any Doctor Who watching Christmas rituals? Did you always watch it live? Do you always watch any particular classic story over Christmas?
No. I mean, the only special I actually watched live was the Christmas Invasion, because that was just so exciting to watch live. And for me personally, they've never ever come close to bettering the Christmas Invasion. I don't think they've even come close to matching it. To me, the Christmas Invasion is absolutely the most. It's a shame that it's shot in a glorious summer, and you can tell it's filmed in a glorious summer. But putting that aside, I just think it's the absolute quintessential Christmas episode, and so that's what I will be watching this Christmas. I don't watch it every Christmas by any means, but if I was going to go for a Christmas episode, that's without a doubt the one I would go for. Love that one.
Charlotte, have you got any Christmas rituals as regards Doctor Who? Is there a story you always watch, or is it just a story you always think about, or a book you always read?
I think we've lost Charlotte. She's fallen off the eggnog.
She's probably gone to tea again.
Sarah, have you got any?
Oh, she's back.
Specials. It's one of those things that. Oh, hello.
What?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you
hear
now.
you now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, my mic can have issues at times. No, I think it's one of those things that I didn't appreciate how much I loved them until we didn't get them.
Yeah.
And it was it was just like you said, it was just part and parcel. We were so used to having them, and they could be a bit camp and a bit rubbish, but they were there. And I think my favourite, I think my two favourite are probably A Christmas Carol and The Runaway Bride, because I love Donna. So it's one of those two.
Yeah, I love The Runaway Bride too. We have Eastland Burkholders watching here in the chat, and they say part of the routine would be my mum coming in and saying, "What's this?" and shaking her head.
Yeah, I love The Runaway.
I think we do get that as Doctor Who fans. The not we, Sarah, the not we in the family.
Yes.
Do you have similar experiences to that at all?
Oh yes, all the time with my family.
Really?
Well, yeah. I had to plan. I would plan my Christmas day around the Christmas special. So we'd usually, if we had dinner at home, I wouldn't go anywhere until after the Christmas special.
Oh dear.
To Boxing Day. No, sorry.
Oh dear.
Christmas night. I've got plans, and I did that.
plans.
And so, how many Christmases into that did the family decide? Oh, we won't bother. We won't ask her. We know what she's going to say.
Probably when I had my own kids.
I bet you were popular for doing that.
They never really got it. They're like, yeah, but you can, especially obviously when iPlayer came about. But it's like, no, I've got to watch it live. You don't understand.
I've got to watch it live.
Doctor Who.
It was
Doctor
never
Who.
quite
every time in it. I mean, Christmas Invasion was just so special, and the fact that we'd got a new Doctor as well, that was so exciting. And so that's probably my favourite. Oh, A Christmas Carol, like Charlotte said, it's just a wonderful story at this time of year.
You do a lot of Doctor Who related Christmassy things as well, don't you? I think the best Doctor Who related Christmas cards I've ever had have been from you. Christmas and birthday cards. JT, do you send any Doctor Who related cards and things like that? What everyday items of Doctor Who goodness do you have in your Christmas schedule?
I do not send Doctor Who related cards because, quite frankly, I'm embarrassed about Doctor Who these days, and I don't want to be associated with it. I did around about the Runaway Bride time. There was a selection of Christmas cards that were officially released with Tennant from those Radio timesheets. You remember those?
Yeah.
And that was a great year because I sent those out to everybody, and everybody seemed to enjoy those. I think they went out for Voyage of the Damned.
Yeah, they did.
My Christmas ritual every year, though, is...
Mine too, JT.
Blimey. Wow.
Every Christmas.
I can't get past the titles. Those titles.
Every Christmas.
I love it. That was our first Christmas special, really, a special one-off episode. The first ever spin-off. It's got a real special place in my heart, that episode.
I agree, JT, totally.
So that's what I watch every year.
It has got something of the Christmas spirit about it. I mean, you could say it's the ghost story for Christmas, isn't it? And we do.
It is. It's got that wholesome BBC feel, though, if you like, as well. Because it's very much of it, and it's not Doctor Who, and it doesn't feel like Doctor Who. And yet it's associated with Doctor Who. But I just love watching it, and that whole sort of feel to it, even the crappy title music, which none of us like. But it's Christmas for me. It's and more so than the things that came from the 2005 onwards era.
I totally agree, JT. And it was just so exciting at the time, because that was the first time anything like that had happened, and it was Christmas. It was just
absolutely, and it was just brilliant.
That's kind of what I mean, really, because there are things that, even though that was shown over Christmas and New Year, K9 and Company, there are other things that weren't, that were completely separate, that just have a Christmas flavour about them. The Unquiet Dead was set at Christmas, wasn't it? But it was shown in April of 2005.
Yeah, it always felt odd to me, that did.
Yeah.
It's a great Christmassy episode. I mean, it's
brilliant.
I think it's more Christmassy than Christmas Invasion. Honestly, that was not my favorite one at all. It's one of my.
Which was your favorite then, Robert?
Oh, I mean, I think Christmas Carol. Really love that one.
Really?
Controversial.
I don't understand why people say Christmas Carol at all, because I remember when the Christmas specials were commissioned, it was only because Rose had been such a massive success in the UK with over 10 million viewers, which the BBC were not getting. So, of course, Lorraine quickly said, right, quick, do an extra episode for Christmas. We'll put it up for Christmas. And that was the start of that sort of run of those episodes. But I remember saying at the time, oh, my God, if Russell writes something which is a pastiche of a Christmas Carol, how predictable is that?
Yeah, but what's your take, Robert? Like 10 years in is fine. And also, listen, I think it's really captured one of the greatest eras of Doctor Who in like lightning in a bottle, in like one in 1 hour thing. The special effects I thought were fantastic. I had a lot of emotion to it, like I had a lot of heart to it. I really. Hello, who are we waving to?
We're waving to David Southall, who's just joined.
Sorry. No, I think it had a really strong emotional journey. It had a very good
A comment came up, Rabbi.
I'm sorry. What was that, Charlotte? Oh,
she's gone.
Never mind. It was super. It was super Christmassy. I like the idea of like.
Sorry, am I on a delay?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Story of my life.
Let
me tell you.
There's a matron here.
So that's one of my favorites. But a real controversial opinion, which nobody agrees with me about. I love Twice Upon a Time. I absolutely love Twice Upon a Time. Everybody, yeah. I mean, I love this. If the doctor's
on,
gonna
let's
go
face
anywhere,
Christmas. Let's cut the
if
groaning.
the
Let's
doctor's
make
gonna go
Hey,
anywhere,
can I-
like Christmas.
Can I tell you something,
Yeah,
Rabbi?
Little Christmas Armistice, right?
Rabbi, why do you love Twice Upon a Time? Pay no attention to these.
Okay, well, several reasons. Firstly, I love Capaldi, but secondly, if the Doctor's going to go anywhere, the most doctory place in all of space and time that I can think of is the Christmas armistice in World War One. There's nothing that's more of a greater expression of humanity and peace, which is so the Doctor, and it's so the place where he would end up. And yeah, I absolutely love that. I love all the stuff with Archie. Sorry.
A few weeks ago, we actually had somebody on, didn't we, Dan? And he was telling us about a fan edited version of that show. And I was saying, Rabbi, I've never seen Twice Upon a Time because I know what happens at the end.
I edited that out as well.
Yeah, I watched the fan edited version, and the fan edited version, problem being, I know you're watching, was really cool. So at least now I can say I've watched a version of that. It was okay, and I'm glad they changed the ending for the fan version, but it was all right, but I don't think it was the strong. I tell you what gets me, you and Sarah, about A Christmas Carol. I've been rewatching in preparation for this show that Dan's arranged, this Christmas show. I've been watching them all from Christmas Invasion upwards, and last night I got to Last Christmas, which is actually really quite good.
It's better than you remember.
Yeah, I tell you, it's scary, proper scary. Yeah. But I tell you something that got me about Christmas Carol, and I know what you're saying about the look of it and the story. It is, in hindsight, it's really a lovely story. I quite enjoyed it. But there was that little thing at the end, that beautiful carol, which Moffat should have. It's about silence and what was coming the season after, and he never got that song. Silence, and he should have brought that in.
Where he got the idea from.
Oh my God, you missed the trick there, Moffat. That should have been in. Oh wow. Anyway, there you go.
I agree with everything the rabbis said about Twice Upon a Time.
I think one of the.
Go on, Charlotte.
I think our mic is not working properly.
Am I working?
Yes.
You keep.
Yes and no.
You are working, but you keep cutting it.
Nope, she's gone again.
If you remember, Sarah, I told you, didn't I? The one Doctor Who story idea that I had involved Armistice Day.
And she's back.
I went and did Twice Upon a Time, and yes, my idea was totally and utterly spent. Colin P. Smith's in the chat. I'm not a great fan of that episode, but the last bit where the captain goes back expecting to die, and the Doctor mentions that he's moved them in time, gets me. There we are. Oh. Especially when you hear the first strains of Silent Night. Yeah, I think it's got a lot of beautiful moments in it.
Yeah. We have to remember as well that, as we've discussed before on the show, that episode was written by Moffat with 5 minutes to go. I mean,
yeah. And there is this as well. This is something that a lot of people. I think this did get released over Christmas, and it's a ritual to a great many people. In fact, I think they did it over Twitter last year. It's the Paul McGann story, The Chimes of Midnight.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, I always listen to this on Christmas Eve.
Too. I probably will this year. I think I'm gonna do things that I don't usually do. So I'm going to do the Unquiet Dead, do the Chimes of Midnight, and see what else. Just rather than some of the big tentpole specials, Simon. Is there any classic stories, Simon, that you think have got a bit of a Christmas bent that weren't meant for Christmas but have that kind of value?
No.
I'll tell you which one. I'll tell you which one seems Christmassy to me.
Yeah, go on.
The Rebus operation.
I was just about to say that's about the only one.
Why? Because of the snow.
Because it's snowy, but also the architecture, the design of it. It's kind of gothic-y, Victorian kind of effect. So yeah, that's about the only one.
It's all filmed in the 3 war sets because it's completely studio based, isn't it? Everybody's in their winter woolies. There's snow, and it's
every time in that beautiful fur.
Oh, don't, yeah. Oh, bless her.
And we also get in one of the characters. It reminds me a little bit of the film Scrooge, because doesn't one of the characters sort of pass away? He's almost like the bit in Scrooge where the man freezes to death. And you got which character is that? Not Unstuff. It's the old man.
I don't know. I can't think of it. Does anybody die in? Does anybody die in Rebus Operation?
I think it's got some life-affirming moments in between all of the nonsense. I think there's a few little Doctor Who stories like that just tucked away that almost feel Christmassy because they're so absurd. And absurdity is part of Christmas, as anybody who's watching this live on YouTube.
What gives you that impression? Let's have a discussion about that.
Ian,
I have just found it. We were talking about Doctor Who Christmas cards, and I've just found I'd forgotten I'd got this. Look at that.
Oh, yes, lovely.
That's beautiful. A hand-drawn one, Simon.
That was from my from my lovely niece Sophie. Hello, Sophie, if you're watching. In 2017, I'm still putting it up every year. There you are, Sophie. It still gets put up every year. My little K9 card.
Fabulous.
Star. Don't we love K9? Who doesn't love K9?
Yes.
Absolutely adore him. Ian, you've recently marathoned a lot of the old specials, haven't you, before Netflix did take them off? To sort of refamiliarise yourself with it. How did you find that experience? Had that been the first time you watched some of them since they originally on?
Yeah, I watched all of the Christmas specials on Netflix.
In order or just random?
But I'm not like you guys. I am a Doctor Who fan, but I have a love-hate relationship with New Who. And I think the Runaway Bride is probably the best one out of all of them, in my opinion. I like the Runaway Bride, even though it was shot in the summer. You know why I liked it? Because it was quite exciting, and Catherine Tate was really funny. And I was so in love with that scene when he tells her to jump when they're in the with the TARDIS, and you never seen effects like that before in Doctor Who, and the TARDIS traveling next to the taxi, and I loved that scene. I thought that scene, I thought, wow, that was really amazing. And I liked the story, and I thought the performance was really good. I didn't like the Christmas Carol one at all. In fact, the majority of them I didn't really like. Not even the Matt Smith ones, and I'm a huge fan of Matt Smith. I hate to bring everything down, but I'm always honest. When it comes to Doctor Who, I'm always honest. That you got to give that to me.
But I'm with you on this. That's why I say Christmas Invasion works for me. And I haven't really enjoyed a single other Christmas special apart from Voyage of the Damned. I like Voyage of the Damned. Apart from the ending, the last 20 minutes, it just falls apart for me. But the atmosphere and the set of Voyage of the Damned, I think, is fantastic. And that was definitely when Doctor Who was absolutely at its peak. And so Voyage of the Damned just felt huge. I think the whole world watched Voyage of the Damned.
I'll tell you one that I really had a problem with the one with the Lion Witch in a Wardrobe one. What was that one?
The
Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe.
I almost threw something at the screen when he said to the little boy, we can't do it because we're men. They're women. I was like, you know what? I had a cup of tea in my hand. I was about to throw something at the screen. I thought, no, I can't destroy my TV. It was just creeping in. All that stuff was creeping in. Yeah, I was like,
I'll tell you something about Voyage of the Damned, of course. I mean, I totally agree. That got over 13 million viewers in the UK watching live Spacebook, watching live. Because Kylie was there, but the whole thing about that, and
I think it was only partly because of Kylie.
Well, no, the Kylie fans watched Dan. Kylie has a massive fan base. Right. Kylie fans.
No, I'm not denying that. But like I said, I think it was only part of it. I think the entire time from 2005 up to 2008, Doctor Who itself's profile was getting bigger.
But if you look at what happened, my point being that with that special Voyage of the Damned, it had a huge knock-on effect to Series 4 because certain people stayed with the show and came back for the Catherine Tate series. And that was also a fantastic year in 2008.
It would have been great if Kylie would have ended up doing a couple of episodes as a companion. It would have been great if she did a couple of episodes.
She was going on tour, love. You would never have got her.
Nah, well, but it would have been great. It would have been great.
We can't afford her anyway.
But I think the reason why, I think the season 4 was you had that relationship which.
It ain't gonna happen.
I don't know what's up with me today.
We have a few suggestions in the chat here for other stories that aren't Christmassy but have a certain Christmassy appeal. So we've got here from Sadako, we have The Talons of Wen Chiang, The Chase, and Remembrance of the Daleks.
Yeah, Remembrance of the Daleks. Yeah, that's definitely Christmassy. I'm
not feeling Remembrance myself.
I'm not feeling that.
But I do.
Wait, Snowy, come on.
But Victoria, here's where I think they are with Talons of Wen Chiang. Victoriana is Christmassy, isn't it? They
Yeah.
show Jack the Ripper at
It
Christmas
is, but I
every
have
year.
to say, when Cheyenne doesn't feel remotely Christmassy to me,
Hang on 1 minute.
I love it.
I've got a barrel here that I'm going to scrape. Hang on.
Yeah, I love When Cheyenne. It's one of my top 10 stories, but it's not really Christmassy.
A little bit. This one loses me a little bit from Duncan Shaw. Midnight has a significance. Midnight is technically the next day.
Hey,
So-
yes, well, yeah, but not set at Christmas.
No, I don't get that one so much. But whatever works for you is how I look at it.
So, yeah.
Horns of Nymon, to be honest, ridiculously, Horns of Nymon always makes me think of Christmas because it went out at Christmas.
Christmas,
Yeah.
So I always think of the Horns of
Maybe
Nymon.
we should explain this, Simon, to anybody younger here. In the old days, of course, we didn't
young
have these
people.
specials that suddenly appeared from 2005 to 2017 or 18, whenever it was. The show ran through the December period.
Yeah.
So you would get one episode one Saturday as normal, and then the Saturday after, or it was occasionally taken off on a Saturday because Christmas Day fell on a Saturday, and they would move it to the week after.
Yeah.
But it sort of felt it was always around, didn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
I agree. Horns and Nymon it does remind me of Christmas, and there's another one that reminds me of Christmas, and I don't know why it is. It's Warriors Gate reminds me of Christmas. I don't know why. I don't know why. I think I must have been as a 10-year-old. Gearing up, maybe, or writing out my Christmas list or something like that. I just associate.
Warriors Gate was just after Christmas, wasn't it? It was screened just after Christmas. They took
January.
a break.
It could be that. I don't know. What it is. Castrovalva and Attack of the Cybermen also remind me of
Well,
Christmas.
again, Castrovalva was just after Christmas. Your Christmas tree is
January.
probably still up, JT. Good way
I
to
remember
still
the day that Attack of the Cybermen started, the 5th of January, 1985. My mother was taking the tree and the decorations down.
There you go. But that's why it's going to remind you of Christmas.
Yeah.
So and I'm the same. Attack of the Cybermen always reminds me of
I
Christmas.
taped that on Betamax.
On what?
Reminder after reminder after reminder, just how subjective all our experiences with Doctor Who are. Vanessa Law's watching in the chat. She says here, there's a short when Tom and Mary Tam, who
Yes.
break the fourth wall to
Yeah.
say Merry Christmas, but
Yeah.
I can't remember
It's-
anymore.
it's-
that was a wonderful
the
one,
BBC,
I think, wasn't it?
It's the BBC Christmas tape from 1978. So it's not even an outtake. It was a deliberately staged little scene where they and there's quite suggestive dialogue between Tom and Mary, and K9 sings his little song before K9 and Company sings "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," and it's brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it's a Christmas BBC tape. So it was an internal tape at the time, but it's obviously leaked out and everybody's seen it now.
Used to do it every year, didn't they? Those blooper tapes. Yeah.
Isn't that one called Doug Who? And it was put together
Doug Who, that's the one.
By Douglas Adams.
That's the one.
I've never seen that.
Oh,
It's
it's
on
a classic.
YouTube.
I'm sure it'll probably be out on YouTube somewhere.
It's on YouTube.
Probably on
Yeah, you
YouTube.
can look it up. Yeah, and it's just Mary and Tom. Well, Tom are trying to, and she's like.
And they go for the kiss. They do go for the snog, and they just stop in time for the whole world to breathe a sigh of relief.
No,
We
it's very
have
funny.
JFO watching in the chat. The next Doctor is an underrated Christmas special, in my opinion, and it got loads of viewers because it was just after David announced he was leaving, and people were intrigued by the title of the episode. Sarah, do you remember that?
Oh, yes.
All that
I
speculation.
do. I remember David announcing it, and it
He
was
would have
like,
made a good Doctor.
it was like take that splitting up again.
He came off stage, didn't he? He came off in an intermission and announced it
Right.
live.
He was in Hamlet. He was in Hamlet at the time, and he was in the intermission. Yeah, he was in his break.
He would have made a good Doctor.
Yeah, it's the National Television Award.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's right.
And it was
David Morrissey. David, is his name
Yeah,
David
it was
Morrissey?
the National
David
Television
Morrissey,
Awards,
yeah.
and it,
And I remember they were teasing it for quite a long
David
time. There were interviews with David Morrissey beforehand, weren't they? When they were sort of saying, "Oh, it's called the next Doctor," and he was baiting the press without actually saying yes or no. They were going for the full publicity drive on it.
Definitely, because if you remember, there were rumours set about by Catherine Tate herself, inadvertently by accident. She basically said on a radio interview, David's left now, and this was towards the end of Series 4. Well, David's done his bit. And then the rumours came out, and David Morrissey was the number one in the bookies chart of who would be Doctor 11. Yeah, and so Russell really played on that.
They all played up to it. They milked
Yes,
it
they
for
did.
what it was worth.
I did like that one, but I didn't
that's
like
brilliant.
the way I didn't like the way it ended though.
Oh no, that's
the
that.
explanation. Yeah.
We have some fan art here on screen at the moment from the artist Oliver Arkenstall Jones. And generally what he does is he paints retro horror style posters, but using Doctor Who stories as inspiration, both classic and new. So there's a Robots of Death poster, for example.
I like it in the VHS box. That's funny.
It's brilliant. Gorgeous.
Sorry, Sarah, what was that?
I said, I love it. I want to see every story look like that in that style.
It's fab.
It's not an original style, Sarah. Just to let you know, you young person, you.
Now that's right. That's why JT and I are getting excited about it, because it takes us back to when we were young people.
Yes, and buying all the VHSs as they came out, and that is absolutely fantastic.
It is.
I'm really upset that I got rid of all my VHSs of Doctor Who. I used to have a load of them. It's a shame. I should have kept them.
I got rid of most of them now. No, they're not really worth anything. I got rid of virtually every VHS that I had, apart from the Doctor Who ones. I've still got them all. But
I've still got
what to do with them.
I still got the 5 Doctors.
Which 5 have you got left?
No, the 5 Doctors. I've still got the 5 Doctors on VHS. I've still got that. I never got rid of that because I love that one so much. But the rest of them I got rid of.
Sorry, Dan. Who did that? Who did that video cover?
Other Arkenstall Jones.
Oh, well done, Oliver. That was gorgeous.
Yeah, it's good.
Absolute beautiful piece. Let's but the specials continued, didn't they? And they sort of increased in the speculation around them. It never really stopped, did it? So they would have to, there'd be some guest stars or whatever else, or some unique selling point as they went along. Stephen Moffat picked up the reins from Russell T Davies, and we got some more, which I suppose Moffat's version of the show being much more fairy tale-esque, Sarah. He really lent into that hard, didn't he? Even more so with the Christmas special. So the lights were always that little bit lower. There was a lot more pine and a lot more twinkle about them all. So have you got any favourites from the Moffat era in particular?
I stopped watching them. This was the first one. This was the first one I stopped watching, and I've no regrets.
How about you, Sarah?
You really didn't miss much.
How about you, Sarah?
Well, apart from Christmas Carol, probably the Snowman. Sorry.
That wasn't bad. Yeah, it wasn't bad.
But that always frustrates me because of what came after with that. I wanted Victoria and Clara to be the companion. I still think she was the best.
Very good point.
The better Clara, I suppose it's kind of like what Ian was saying about
companion.
What Ian was saying about Astrid in Voyage of the Damned. It's a common thing. It's a common thing, isn't it? They give us these little bits of gold, and maybe even Rabbi, you were talking about the Runaway Bride when Donna left at the end of that. Were you did you feel like that's her story told, or were you sort of yearning for her
to come back? Yeah, totally. I think I watched it last night, Runaway Bride. I have to tell you though. The Rachnos villain, I enjoyed it, and it fits well into the holiday feeling of it. But honestly, if you're looking at it like just coldly, he doesn't look that different from the villains that we see today in the current era. It did remind me very disturbingly of what's the name, the Angeli. Did she play Angeli Mohindra? They had her in as playing this villain, this monster. I just felt bad for her. And it did look very similar. They look like they spent more money on it.
It was very dark towards the end. And I mean, what the Doctor was going to do to her at the ending, and I think it was what's her name that actually stopped him. So it's a really good Christmas one. In fact, I think that was the best out of all the Christmas ones. I do like Christmas Invasion, as Simon says. I really like that one because it was the very, very first, and it's David Tennant, the new Doctor. But I felt cheated on that one because David Tennant only came towards the ending. I was
but when he comes in, wow, does he come in?
I think that's the whole point of the thing, isn't it?
I agree, Jason.
That's the whole point. Sorry. I like what you've just said there, Ian, about the Doctor's dark side coming in on Runaway Bride at the end. But actually, having reviewed the episodes like you have for Spacebook tonight, it actually starts in the Christmas Invasion.
It does.
Because if you look at that arc, including that episode of Tennant's Doctor, I mean, it's very strange because in the Christmas Invasion, you have a prime minister that he has predicted in his previous incarnation is going to be there. Harriet Jones. She's there, and then he likes her, and then he deliberately gets rid of her because she's done something he doesn't approve of, which actually turns out later on in the series 4, to have been the correct thing. Yes. And that shows aside to the 10th Doctor, I don't think many people are clicking onto. Look at those final moments in the Christmas Invasion where he deliberately turns on her.
Yeah, that's the one
he deliberately kills the guy, doesn't he, with the tangerine, doesn't he? He hits it and it hits him and he falls off, doesn't it?
It's what he does to Harriet that gets me because you know we've seen her in the previous series with Eccleston's Doctor, and they're very pally, and she's quite good one. She's brought in Britain's golden age, and he deliberately brings her down because she's done something he doesn't approve of. Interesting character development that goes right through to the very end with the whole Waters of Mars thing.
That's what's great about the Doctor himself, not only David Tennant, the people that play him. It's because 1 minute he could be your pal, the next minute he could slightly do something. You know what I mean? And you think that's odd.
Signs were there in his regeneration story, you know. And I'm with you, Simon. I think the beauty of Christmas Invasion, which in hindsight is my favorite out of those that I've seen from right up to the end of Capaldi, because it happens just to be a Doctor Who story that's set at Christmas. Whereas later on, especially in Moffat's era, it was Christmas with the Doctor at Christmas, which possibly is something that should be avoided. If you're going to have a Christmas story with a time traveler like the Doctor, maybe he should be arriving like he does in the Christmas Invasion on that particular season, you know.
Yes. Talking about arriving in the nick of time, something the Doctor's pretty good at. We've got some more answers here from the live chat. People have stepped in with various ideas of different stories that they're reminded of. So Derek Brady, our friend Derek Brady,
Derek,
isn't a TV movie set around Christmas time? Well, it's New
Year.
It is.
Wow, New Year's.
And again,
The trimmings aren't up, but it's as good as, wouldn't you say?
And we all forgot about it. How ridiculous!
I still love that movie. I love that.
I love it.
Yeah, I do as well, Ian.
Love it.
Oh, Vanessa here. I can definitely relate to this, maybe for different reasons. Vanessa says, "I watched the next Doctor for the female villain."
Well done.
She's great.
So do I. Dervla Kerwin. It's a long time crush I've had on her. Kelly's in the chat. She says they could still hire David Morrissey, which means David Morrissey now. After all, Peter Capaldi had been in it before, and again, she's right. No reason why not. In fact, David Morrissey, I think he would still make a great Doctor now.
That was probably Russell T Davies' best Cyberman story as well. Next Doctor. I can't think of
the most straightforward.
It had a great line in it where they go, "What manner of men are these?" And she goes, "Cybermen." That was brilliant. I love that line. Yeah. She did it so well.
Yeah,
I want a big finish to do, and I wish they would put out a box set in December or Christmas specials we never got. Like do a Tom Baker Christmas special. And like, wouldn't that be great? Yeah, like
how could they do that? Though? How could they do that?
I love that. I'd like to. I like their third Doctor box sets. The ones they did with Tim Treloar. I think they're really very good. I like the seventh Doctor. Yeah, I like.
I don't know about the box set, but I like the idea of one definite Christmas story per year. And if the BBC aren't going to give it us on television, then Big Finish, absolutely do that. You give us our Christmas special. I don't really mind which Doctor. I'd love a Tom Baker Christmas special.
Wouldn't it be great?
Yeah.
What's that effect they do? Fake, where they put someone's face on. What is it called?
Deep fake thing?
Deep fake. You know, they just do a deep fake. Give us a Christmas special. Well, Tom Baker or something like that. That'd be really cool.
Lots of love for David Morrissey in the chat here as well. David Morrissey is always superb. Alex Storer here. I guessed Alex Storer from the last show. Alex Storer says the ending really let it down, but up to that point, the next Doctor was really good. David Morrissey was superb. So
I agree. It's the ending. It's that Cyber King stamping all over. It's like something out of Wallace and Gromit. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. They explained it away though, didn't they?
But they're always ridiculous.
You know what?
Always ridiculous.
I tell you what.
It's part of the appeal, isn't it, Rabbi? They should be ridiculous. They should be ludicrous. They should be over the top and audacious.
The one thing I noticed about the Matt Smith one, the wardrobe one, that I can never remember the title of that.
The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, the Doctor never saves anyone in that episode. He doesn't. He's completely useless.
Yeah,
he's completely useless. And the woman is the one that's the hero in that episode.
But that's the joke, isn't it? Because she's the mother ship.
Yeah.
It sort of makes sense, actually. In a sci-fi sort of, it makes sense because she's the mother ship.
Because when I was watching it, I realized he didn't save anyone. Didn't save anyone.
I didn't like it at the time. It left me cold at the time, but years later, we watching it.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Sarah? I think that happened to a lot of fans because the feedback after it wasn't brilliant. Do you remember from fandom? But I think it's one of those that I watched it the other night and thought actually it makes more sense now.
It does make. I didn't like the kids. The kid actors weren't very good.
I like the little boy. I thought he was.
Is that the one with the wooden king and queen?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know what? I'll give it another watch this year. I normally watch a bunch of them every year.
The thing with some some of these episodes are, and especially with the Moffat ones, you've got to remember the day it's shown, and it's fitting in around the strictly Christmas special camp fest and call them midwife camp fest, and they were always. If you look at it on that day, you can get away with murder. And I think it was Russell that was saying, one of the things about the Christmas specials is that's the day you're guaranteed non-Doctor Who fans, they're not coming in to watch them. They can't be bothered to switch over.
I want to ask you all a question, right? Do you think, right, that if when they were making the Doctor Who Christmas specials, do you think necessarily it should be set at Christmas time? Could it not have been? You reckon it should always be set at Christmas?
Yeah, I do too.
Like Russell T Davies said when he said it, it's got to be super Christmassy because he loves Christmas. Because
there's got to be Christmas element,
right? But they asked him, "Are they always going to be super Christmas?" He said, "Whenever I'm doing them, they are." It certainly is.
I think they can be scary, and I think they can be somber. And all those things, but just like Blue Bonnet Hoovian says here in the chat, they should be fun. I think that they should always
any
be
Christmas
fun.
episode you can throw in every emotive we go through. Look at Scrooge; that could scare the hell out of you when you're a kid. You know what I mean? Because it's really scary. And then you've got all the family, you've got the love, you've got the joy. So I totally agree with everybody else here. A Christmas special, because if you watch something now on a repeat showing somewhere, I mean, look at those One Foot in the Grave as an example. Christmas specials.
Yeah.
What's Christmas special about that? He's sat on a bloody motorway in the sun for weeks. You can't tell.
I'm a big believer. Christmas special should be Christmassy. I mean, that's the great thing about British Christmas is so much better than American Christmas, right? You get great TV.
Go on, explain why.
Food. Like my wife makes a big English Christmas every. Like the Sabbath. So she actually made Christmas pudding and mince pies.
English or British, Rabbi? English or British?
I guess British. I don't know what to tell. I've never been to Wales or Scotland. I imagine it's quite nice.
They did a Doctor Who on Christmas Carol. What they should have done one on It's a Wonderful Life. Maybe they should have done a version of Doctor Who. That would have been great.
This is a whole different subject here because
Time was a bit of a riff on that.
Sorry? Say again?
I thought Twice Upon a Time was a little bit of a riff on that.
No way.
When you're trying to decide where they should live.
I think this is interesting because...
Sorry, Sarah. Sorry, explain why, Sarah.
Yeah, because 12 just wanted to die, didn't he? He
was trying to decide if he wanted to live or not, right? Yeah. And that was deciding with life as well. And that's really the central question. And that he...
but if Wonderful Life was interesting, that episode was boring as hell, for God's sakes.
Yeah. It's interesting though, isn't it?
It's a wonderful 12th life.
Here we are as fans talking about this, and yet a certain person a few years ago said there's no more ideas for Doctor Who at Christmas, and yet all we as fans ever have are ideas of what you can.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what?
Idea after idea.
Yeah, there's loads. I mean, the Doctor stepping on Lego is a great episode.
Maybe they should have had a Home Alone Doctor.
To make a movie in the
Can't hear.
Home Alone Doctor. That's what they should have done.
I want to see that.
I want to see that.
Yeah,
on a previous edition of the Type 40 podcast, you came up with a killer idea, didn't you, for a Christmas special that rubbed Chris Chibnall's nose right in it. Do you want to remind us what that was, Sarah? Just again?
Kablam should have been the Christmas special. It
Okay, can you just tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is Kablam? Because I haven't seen any of those episodes.
You don't
It's
want
about Amazon.
It was presents with killer bubble wrap, and it was kind of throwing shots at. Oh,
It was the worst story ever. Just absolute rubbish.
No,
Sorry,
it wasn't
I've lost
the
you
worst
'cause
story
that-
ever. There are so many
I think Sarah's got a point that it could have been whether you liked it or not. I mean, the purpose, the concept of it, it could have been easily, very easily tweaked to be a great
Christmas special. And the reason why Chibnall doesn't do Christmas specials is because it's a Judeo-Christian holiday, and Chibnall hates anything Judeo-Christian. You know, he hates any traditional value. He just can't stand it. Dan, I have to go in a minute. I have my stream starting in about 45 minutes. Is there any chance I can plug it? I have a Christmassy thumbnail that I was going to.
Just in time, because we're about to hit the midpoint. Here we are. This is yes. Okay, this is from the Rabbi from another planet. Our good friend the Rabbi, coming up later. Go on, over to you, Rabbi. What's this about?
Okay, so we got a lot of.
You do know I'm going to have to cut. You do know I've got to cut this out of the podcast now, don't you? Go on, carry on.
Oh yeah. Oh, you can airbrush it. You can airbrush it out, can't you?
No, I mean the audio version later. Go on, carry on. Just don't.
Okay, I won't say what it says.
Be careful what you say.
It deals with the that wonderful article. We're going to read through that wonderful article where I think it's a spoof. Is it real or a spoof? Where one of these crazy
the girl. Yeah.
No, it's genuine. I've seen it. Yeah, it's genuine.
And their mind exploded. Their mind exploded. Bit of Chris excellent action because he was on today. That photoshopping that party hat on was not easy. We're going to go through each and every one of the Star Wars spin-offs, and I'm going to take everybody through a guide through Big Finish Christmassy stuff, which I love a lot. So I listen again. I'm a massive Christmas file, so there you go. But yes, I'm sorry. You know, the trouble with being a reasonably dirty person is you don't actually realize you're being dirty.
I think you do, Rabbi. I think you do.
I mean, you do, but it's like you just breathe it out for a while. So.
Don't miss this. Coming up at 6 o'clock, directly after us, the Rabbi from another planet gets stuck into a very British Christmas with Christmas hats and audio drama and all our favourite franchises there, and no doubt a few slightly risque stories. Have a great
There may
Rabbi.
be one or two. That's what we can look forward to.
Merry Christmas, Rabbi. Thanks for dropping by.
Bye.
Always great to see you. Bye. Ho, 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 ho.
Okay. Here's a question for you then, guys. Do you think the Christmas specials work better when it's a standalone story like Voyage of the Damned, or when it's a continuation of, like Christmas Invasion were kind of a continuation of Series 1, and Time of the Doctor and End of Time were all like continuations of their series.
Well, that's where I think it's better if it's a standalone. Christmas Invasion is a one-off because, of course, it's introducing a new Doctor, and that's also a great point for for the not we to come in on a big day to actually get into Doctor Who. I think it's wrong, and this is where I think Moffat did slip up, because when you watch them now, I couldn't remember why Amy and Rory. I couldn't remember why they had left him and why they were in a house. And quite frankly, I can't be bothered to go back and find out. And then the whole River Song thing. I mean, if you haven't been following 4 years at that point, maybe, of that storyline, what's there to grab you? I think there must always be one-offs like Christmas Invasion and certainly like Runaway Bride and The Voyage of the Damned.
I think, and from that point, I would agree totally, JT. And I think from that point of view, probably Voyage of the Damned was the one more than anything that absolutely was for the not we. That absolutely, if you were sitting there having eaten your turkey and your mince pies on Christmas night with the family, Voyage of the Damned was just about going to hit every button in the way that Weddings of River Song, let's be honest, was not.
And of course, Voyage of the Damned had that sort of Christmas, those big blockbuster films the BBC used to show, like The Race of the Titanic, like the Poseidon Adventure. It was that sort of thing, wasn't it?
That's what it was.
That's exactly what it was, but it worked. On that day, the public recognised it.
Ian, imagine a Doctor Who twist on the Italian Job. Can you imagine
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
And totally and utterly Christmassy.
You could
Yeah.
sort of do something like that and have the minis as TARDISes.
Exactly.
Sadako is bringing us up to date here in the chat with Resolution is the only Chris Chibnall era story that I somewhat enjoyed.
What's that one? I don't know that one. What's that?
That's the one where a Dalek sort of gets involved and there's a microwave and it's all very silly. But
A microwave.
But thanks for sharing. We're glad you enjoyed it. I found it somewhat wanting, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Merry Christmas, Sadako. Yes, there's lots of regulars here. Yes, the killer microwave. Derek reminds us that was the killer microwave for all the people out there.
Did they have a microwave that killed people? That's a bit Doctor Who-y.
No, it wasn't as clever as that, I'm afraid. No. Now, talking about, let's get this out of the way. First, I've got to check in with this because yes, we have a few. I think Emma is here, or at least she was earlier on watching in the chat. Because of course, we are a Doctor Who podcast on the Fandom Podcast Network from the Spacebook, and all over the Christmas period, we're doing lots of Doctor Who related things, both on the podcast and here on the Spacebook channel. But of course, we are a mainstream Doctor Who show, and sometime in January, we will be reviewing the next Doctor Who special. So, yes, here is just for you, all you Jodie Whittaker fans out there. We can't leave her out of all the festivities. So, here's a picture that made me kind of giggle there. Reminded me of my favourite scene from that opening episode. There she is. And yes, of course, we did eventually get the news. The schedule was released around a week and a half ago, so we now know when Revolution of the Daleks is going to air. It is on New Year's Day after all, rather than on Christmas Day, and in the 6:45 p.m. slot, just running from 6:45 p.m. until EastEnders at 8 o'clock that day. Obviously, the BBC schedules this year are somewhat wanting. They've had a challenging year. They
always are. The BBC lost the plot years ago on their Christmas schedules. You know, they used to be the to-go place, and now they're not. They really aren't.
It is a terrible, terrible schedule. And
always has been.
Yes, of course, we can cut them some slack because of the you-know-what, because of the beer bug, whatever you want to call it, because the kung flu, whatever. But the way I see it, having there's 3 Shrek films on Christmas, either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Well, there's about 20 of them, isn't there? So that's not bad. I'll tell you something, though. People have won money over the fact that you can guarantee what's on the BBC now every year because it's the same. You're going to get Mrs. Brown's Crap. You're going to get Call the Midwife. You're going to get Strictly Come Dancing. You're going to get somebody like Michael McIntyre or something doing that thing rather than Doctor Who now. You can guarantee it, Mr. Wenger. We all know what you're going to be planning. It's the same lineup every year, love.
Yeah, but Captain Underpants, come on.
Yes,
and the children.
Never been more healthy.
What's that?
Never been more healthy editorially.
I've been thinking about this whole BBC thing anyway, because forget Christmas for a minute.
Yeah,
we've been paying, all of us, the entire country, supposedly, have been paying their license fee all year. The BBC have been making next to no programming whatsoever. Yeah. What's been happening to all the license fee that we've been paying? What have we been paying for exactly?
We've been paying for the staff to work at home.
Yeah.
But they're not making any programs. So as a result, why are we not getting a rebate on our license?
Yeah, it's
or
a
at
good
least
point.
a partial refund for what we've been able to make. Where's the money been going?
Did you see that schedule? They usually have a big film, don't they? Like a film that's a premiere. They've got Prince of Thieves on. Kevin Costner. That's an old movie.
The problem you've got with that these days,
let's just look here on this is New Year's Day, so it's not Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is a great movie. But that film reaches its 30th anniversary in just a few months.
Listen,
they put it on because they already had it. They've probably got the rights for one more screening. And they haven't got anything else. That's why, because Sky Movies and all the other places have bought up all of the good stuff.
The BBC and ITV are no longer the premiere for films because it always goes to Sky or the likes, doesn't it?
And so where is our license fee going? It's not going on new programs.
Do you remember?
Points back to that question, Simon. I agree. Sorry, Ian.
In the 70s, do you remember? Oh, not 70s, 80s, 90s, when Bond used to come on ITV.
Absolutely, that was the Christmas day, wasn't it?
It was the premiere. It was like, you've got to see this Bond film.
Do you remember, Ian? In the TV times, it used to be billed as the James Bond movie.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. For me, though, more so than that, Christmas Day for me was the BBC Indents, Morecambe and Wise.
Yep.
Something we can't talk about anymore, so I won't mention it.
Two Ronnies.
Yeah.
Well, the two Ronnies, Morecambe and Wise would be alternate, wouldn't they, every year?
Yeah.
And the Generation Game with Larry.
Yes.
We have a message in the chat here. Simon Horton, that money has gone to salaries on the BBC gravy train. Now, listening out there who doesn't know about this, the BBC have had a terrible year, both in terms, in the way that we've all had, but the publicity surrounding the BBC and the possible restructuring that may go on there in the future. And yes, so there's a lot of headlines about the BBC at the moment, a great deal of pressure for them to be reformed, defunded altogether. And, obviously we don't really know where that's going to go in the next 2 to 3 years, but it will have a knock-on effect on Doctor Who.
You guys must remember. On
Type 40, we will be talking about it in the future.
When Christmas, when we were younger, obviously, every year you used to get the ITV TV times and the BBC radio times, and you used to sit there and used to circle out what you wanted to watch and stuff like that. Yeah, videotapes ready and amazing.
Well, in our day, of course, it didn't have any competition. There was no Sky or anything like that. So everything was going on. Do you remember when Raiders of the Lost Ark was broadcast on the BBC at Christmas? Yeah. 23 million people watched that.
I know.
Huge. And we're also competing with the fact now that you can go to our Blu-rays and our DVDs and our downloads. We've all got them now as well. So, I mean, ITV now, of course, for viewers outside the United Kingdom, ITV will show Bond films all the time now, but we've all got them. Harry Potter, the Star Wars films.
The problem is nothing has any currency anymore because you've all seen it before. If you want to watch it, you probably even watch it on illegal download if you're really that desperate to see. So unfortunately, there is a limit to what any of these broadcasters can do, and that's okay. I get that, but as a result, I still feel a bit aggrieved for constantly paying my license fee for what?
Yeah.
But for years, the BBC and ITV, to an extent, have missed the trick about that whole thing. Stop relying on things we've all got on a DVD or download collection or a Blu-ray collection. Produce original content.
But this, of course, JT, is where Doctor Who did score, and that's why it did so well during the RTD years, because people couldn't get it, and so that's why everybody was absolutely desperate for new content of Doctor Who, and that's why things like Voyage of the Damned were so popular, because it was the only time you could see. That's what they was surviving on, and even that's fallen away now.
Absolutely, and it's a shame because the Christmas special, I always looked at the episodes, whether I liked the episode or not, as a real showcase to say this is what Doctor Who is for the not we, and to introduce them on that day, and maybe as they did with the Donna series with Series 4, they would stay over from Voyage of the Damned to see, it's Catherine Tate coming in, and it's a great showcase day, but it's now gone, and I don't think it'll come back.
Alex in the chat says there's no novelty in Christmas scheduling.
Right.
You might get an Aardman special or something to look forward to.
But you know what,
right? Very brief 30 minutes. They are always short animations. Ian, they're always short animations, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a real shame because at one point the BBC was really getting there, because when you used to look at some of the shows they produced, like the Fast Show, they had a huge star like Johnny Depp in one of the sketches. So the BBC was really getting around the world with their shows, with their original shows, and suddenly just all disappeared. I don't understand what happened. There was huge stuff. Look at Ricky Gervais when he did Extras. How many huge Hollywood stars was in that really low budget, simple concept show? It was amazing, but suddenly it's all gone to pot, mate. It's all gone, and I think it's good for the agenda. That's why
I'm all for cutting the BBC a little bit of slack. Yeah, in light of current circumstances, I don't have a TV license, so it's not for me to say. I just watch somebody who commentates on it, who's interested in one IP in particular. I'm interested in the media. I've worked in the media as few people here have. So it's perfectly okay for me to have an interest in it and to watch the landscape. But I'm glad, Simon, I'm not paying for this nonsense anymore. I've got to be brutally honest. But I will be talking about it. Let's just remind people. Yes, so here we are. This is Revolution of the Daleks. is on New Year's Day at 6:45 p.m. Not quite sure when we're going to be talking about it on Type 40 Doctor Who podcast, but the review will be coming up. I'll be on there with my honest opinions as always, and whoever comes on with me, I don't know who it's going to be. Might be some new people entirely. Might be some people where I don't even know what they think about this current era. So it might be a conversation that we've never had before. So listen out for that on Type 40 Doctor Who podcast coming up in a few weeks' time. I can guarantee you that. Okay. Yeah,
hey, I'm so excited.
I'm not. Well, the thing is, I won't be on it because I'm not going to watch it. But
none of us will be
want to watch it. Yeah, if people want to watch it, it's fine. It's fine.
Let's talk about a Christmas gift. Let's talk about a Christmas gift that everybody wants, or gifts that we've all enjoyed. Here we are. Let's cheer people up again. There we are. There's a Christmas joke. So yeah, what I'd like to know, Ian, is what's the best Doctor Who related Christmas gift you ever had? Is there anything that sticks in your mind?
I've never ever got a Doctor Who present.
You're kidding!
No, never ever ever. Every Doctor Who stuff that I've owned, I've bought myself because none of my families is into Doctor Who at all. In fact, none of my family didn't know. Yeah, only my brother. I watched it.
My
brother.
God!
Yeah, so I've never ever had a Doctor Who present ever.
JT, you sound amazed. Go on, you must have. What's at the top of your memory bank here?
Well, I've got a few examples, but I'll try and keep it as short as I can. the first one, of course, is years and years, every year from 74. I got the Doctor Who annual every single year,
yes.
and sometimes that would be complemented by the Dalek annual, the K9 annual from 1983, which was out in 82. And also the occasional, well, there was a Big 7 annual. But I got the Doctor Who annual continually from 1974 right up until the painful end in 1986.
Have you got all of them, JT? Have you got all of them?
I am missing, actually. Oh, I've got all of those, except the one, the Troughton one with the Cybermen coming into that lovely art cover there. For the Cybermen, I am missing that one. And I am missing the elusive 1970, the pink cover Pertwee annual.
72, I think. 71, 72. Yeah, those two, of course, JT, the one that you just talked about, the Troughton annual that's on there, and the pink, the first John Pertwee annual, those are by far and away the rarest of all the annuals, and they still go for fortune.
Do you remember
you, JT, those are the ones I'm missing.
Do you remember the smell? The
Me
smell
too.
when you used to get it new. The smell of the book when you used to get an annual.
Absolutely. I mean, those annuals for me were so important because that summed up Christmas for myself, and I got them with the Beano and the Dandy every year. I mean, my parents must have spent a bloody fortune looking at the prices that they must have been back then. So that was Christmas for me. But special Christmases when it came around to the year I got the Dennis Fisher, Tom Baker doll, the TARDIS, the robot, the Cyberman. I never got the Dalek. And K9 appeared the year after, and I wasn't allowed the Leela doll until I was old enough to buy it for myself. But that was a special Christmas where the Dennis Fisher stuff came out. Another special Christmas was around about that whole magical time in 81 into 82. Now, Tom had just left the series. We just had the 5 Faces of Doctor Who. And that Christmas, the annual was also supplemented with the K9 annual. I think at that time, maybe not, maybe the year before. But I got a load of Target gift book sets.
Yeah, I remember those.
Remember that?
Those are the ones in the slipcase, weren't they? You got
Correct.
novels.
You got 3 or 4 in each box, and oh man, that was so special to get those. Really, really special to get those. And then you started in January, a few short weeks later, with Castrovalva. And then when the show came back and the merchandise exploded, Christmas 2006 was a huge Christmas for me because everybody knew what to get me. And I had remote control Daleks from my sister coming out my ears, and bubble baths and tacky books and all sorts of things. Everybody got me something to do with Doctor Who. That was a special one. That's when I thought, my God, everybody's bought into this series.
Yeah, they did.
In the chat, Ian, somebody feels sorry for you. Vanessa says, Ian, give me your address. Simon,
But that's right, I didn't get any Christmas presents about Doctor Who either. Can I have some?
Simon, hearing JT talk about those slipcase editions there, how I remember them, was that the card, those outer casings, you love the Target books. I love the Target books.
Good.
They come in really hard card outer cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when
They
you
were
see those
robust.
collections, when you see slipcases in supermarkets now, they're practically made of paper, those, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
They should come back, the Target's slipcase edition.
They should.
Come back for
Do
Christmas.
you remember you used to have the catalogue? I remember Mum used to give me the catalogue and that because I'm from a huge family. And I used to always circle the annuals, the Doctor Who annuals, but I never got it. Never.
Oh, what a shame.
How about this? Christmas Day 1986, we've got Alex Storer chipping in again, and Matt Irvin's visual effects book, plus System
still got
Miniatures,
that.
20
Yeah.
Daleks and Cybermen packs.
Yeah.
That was a memorable one. That was
86, yeah.
right the way through the rest of the year doing that. Well, it would if you those Citadel miniatures. Those are the ones you had to paint up, weren't they, Simon?
Yeah, those are the little dinky ones. And as I recall, if I'm guessing what Alex is talking about here, it was a box set. It came as a box set of these 20 Daleks and Cybermen to paint up, and they were phenomenal. Can I just say, I've actually given myself a Christmas present this year anyway, and it's from Alex, actually. So, Alex, it hasn't got these yet. They are stunning. I've got myself a set of Alex's art card prints.
Show me. Oh, they're brilliant.
Beautiful. They are. Yeah. They look way better in real life than they look in photos or how they are currently looking. I'm just so pleased with them. They're just
my
so
favorite.
Cool. I like that. This is my favorite. Is definitely this one. I just love the dark. And the link to get these, they're less than 10 quid, including postage for these. They're beautiful. And the link for them is on the Hoonatics page and also on the Type 40 Facebook page. So that's my present to me this year. And I will forever remember Christmas with these because they almost look Christmassy, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? That's kind of Christmassy.
Red and green. Red and green.
Yeah, it's working for me. So they're great. So that's my treat to myself. But I'm with JT in that the one Christmas I had the Dennis Fisher TARDIS and the giant robot. Bless them, my parents decided they weren't going to get me the Doctor. So I just got the TARDIS and the giant robot, which is kind of a bit random. So I had to get the Doctor to myself afterwards. Yeah, the giant robot. Much as I tried to get him in that TARDIS, he wasn't going in.
It was the same with K9 the year after.
And I haven't got any of these. I had the K9 the year after, and I haven't got any of these anymore. But my TARDIS, I wish to goodness I'd kept my TARDIS because I got this on Christmas Day, and by Boxing Day, I'd gone to the trouble of putting white roundels in the inside. I got all this card, and I've made white roundels to go in the doors and in the inside. It was fabulous. Don't know where it is now. It's probably in landfill by now. But very quickly, my absolute favourite Doctor Who Christmas present was from 1978, the Genesis of the Daleks LP. Because seriously, there was just nothing more exciting than getting. I literally must have worn it completely out the number of times I played that Genesis of the Daleks LP. It was just like all your Christmases had come at once because you've just got to get into the mindset.
Just behind me, I've got that album just a few meters.
You've just got to get into the mindset that there was no chance ever of any of us seeing or hearing any of these old stories ever again, as far as we were aware. And we'd certainly had nothing like this before. So to suddenly get Genesis of the Daleks and listen to Tom's voice, it's... Just
you've inspired me, Simon, because something else I got for Christmas, which I still have upstairs, was the War of the Daleks game.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
It's
that was
so
the magnetized one,
now.
wasn't it, JT?
I don't know if it was magnetized or if it was just card.
And they
had
just
these little
twist
Daleks
it and it goes
like
round.
fitted it in, and the Daleks moved around, and it was a board game. But I do remember playing that and forcing the adults around me on Christmas night to play it with me.
Something that probably still gets talked about to this very day, I bet, when your family get together behind your back. Sarah, Christmas gifts. What's the most memorable that you can?
Well, I'm at a disadvantage with you because you've got years on me.
We're old farts.
Listen to this guy.
We're old farts.
He'll still talk to you anyway. Carry on.
Christmas 2005, when we got that lovely the TARDIS box set that opened up and you got series.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes, I remember that too.
Yeah, and I remember the remote control Daleks that came with the Christopher Eccleston figure.
Yes.
Yeah, and I remember buying my nephews that as well, and just having so much fun playing with them.
Mm-hmm. The battle packs.
I was still living at home then, so my mum were like, "You want an action figure?
Don't you want Barbie?
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
I think
Yeah,
the merchandise exploded around that time, didn't it? So whilst your interest in the shows exploded.
This fascinates me. So basically, when you were young, you were really into Doctor Who. You know, so did your mum go, "Why aren't you into Barbies? Why aren't you? Why do you want this action figure?" Did they question you?
Yes, you know, I was never into Barbies. I don't understand it. Yeah, I had one of my favourite toys was the Queen Alien figure when you see
Okay.
and the loader, and she just never knew what I was into.
Oh, you
Didn't know what to do,
know
yeah.
the joy you missed, Sarah, because for many years, my sister's Cindy doll accompanied the Tom Baker Doctor as his companion. Yeah.
recruited. And yes, if I think I've probably told this story before, but the one Christmas gift that really sticks in my mind, actually, in the recent past, I've talked about this 2 or 3 times, I think. But yes, the one that really sticks in my mind is Doctor Who related. And yes, it is right back to our little friend,
Yes.
Palatoy's Talking Canine, which I had Christmas 1979.
How much did that go for, Dan?
Now they're around £400 to £500, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe more if you wanted it boxed.
Yes.
But I had mine for years. Well, I still got him now. He just doesn't quite look like that. He's actually in 2 halves. I have to push him together. But yeah, he went everywhere with me. And yes, he spoke for the first 20 years of his life. But yeah, that's the memory. That's the big Christmas memory with Doctor Who.
Wow. Well, dogs don't have a long life.
You remember that the record was literally 2-sided, so you could flip the record to get different phrases on the other side.
He actually had a record, a little plastic disc inside him with the phrases on that you could
a little clear plastic record.
I mean, for a whole generation, that sums up Christmas, doesn't it? Because that toy was huge that year. It wasn't the standards that we know now, but between that and the Dennis Fisher version, that's Christmas.
Yeah.
Loads of them got that. Loads of them got those things. One or the other.
Yeah, I had that definitely. I had
Making
that
me feel sad. I want to go back to the old days of
Don't we
Christmas.
all?
I don't know. It's not all bad now, is it? It's not all bad.
Yeah, it's rubbish. I hate this. Can't say anything. You can't do anything. Please.
Dan's best friend we have. We've got Derek Brady in the chat again. I've still got the TARDIS DVD box set and it's sealed. Derek, that's the only way you'll stop that thing from falling apart if it's still sealed.
The thing is as well is that original Eccleston box set is now worth money because we didn't know at the time, but it was a limited edition because of course when the BBC saw it on the shelf, they decided, oh my God, it's rubbish. So they put it down to the slimmer versions, which was the standard after that. So if anybody has that, look after it.
Mine's gone.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I sold mine. I traded it in for the slimmer one back in the day. It literally, I was always gluing it. I think I only had it in my life for a very short period of time.
Why did you open it?
I shouldn't. I opened it to
Don't
watch it.
understand people who open merchandise. Get 2.
Retro Dicky, he's bang up to date here. He says the Lego Dimensions Doctor Who pack is brilliant. Every game a Doctor Who fan should own it.
I've got it, mate, but I don't know what it is.
I want to go back to the old Christmas. That's where I want to go.
Was it a Lego set with the TARDIS and you got the Matt Smith Doctor?
Oh, darling, I don't know. I've got the one with K9 and Capaldi.
Yeah.
You know what? I come from a family of 7, right? And I never ever got what I wanted. But the only toy I wanted is not Doctor Who related. Was this one here? This was what I always wanted as a kid.
So what's this, Ian? Explain what that is to us.
This is Rock'em and Sock'em. And when I was a kid, I always wanted. So it's like 2 robots fighting in
You
a
were
ring.
a very strange young man, weren't you?
I wanted. My brother got it for me for my birthday. My brother got it for me, and I love this.
It was called Battling Robots in the 70s or 80s, wasn't it?
Yes, it was,
yeah.
I think it was made in Germany, and they called it Rock'em and Sock'em. Sock'em, yes.
I remember the advert as well. Do you remember that advert in the 70s where they had the 2 of them there and he made it look all dynamic? And then you saw it in the toy shop, you went, oh, please.
No, but it's still cool, isn't it? It's so cool.
You could definitely do a Doctor Who edition of that game, couldn't you? Battling
You could.
Bandrels, maybe?
Yeah.
Would you please stop giving Chris Chibnall ideas?
Well, he needs them.
I mean, we know he's watching.
Bad idea.
Hello, the BBC. Hi, BBC. Merry
You don't
Christmas.
watch. Everybody at the production office, we do know you're watching. Thanks for tuning in.
Hello.
Merry Christmas, Chris.
Hello.
Hope you have a fabulous Christmas and New Year. Take as much time away as you like. Don't come back on air.
Yeah, don't come back after the holiday, please.
Yes.
We love
Well,
you.
talking about popularity contests. A few weeks ago on Doctor Who Day, if you remember, we rolled out our little event called the Type 40 Companions of 2020, where we, between us, we came up with candidates, didn't we, for people who we felt had made Doctor Who the
Hang on a minute. Does anybody else remember was it?
Yeah,
not,
I did.
Was it not? Was it just? Oh, did you? I thought it was just Dan. I thought
It was just Dan. It was just Dan.
we come to a list of names of people who'd made an impact on the Doctor Who community generally in 2020. And once this list was assembled, we offered it out. Yes, so we came. There was 9 names all in all, and we offered it up to vote to members of the Type 40 Facebook group and over on other social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, all that sort of thing. And the results are in. Yes, it was on this show. It was on our Doctor Who Day show a little while ago, if you remember.
That was a great show.
It was a great show.
Welcome to us.
Even if I say so myself.
Yeah.
We do have a winner, everybody, by quite a way. Drum roll. Can anybody do a drum roll?
No.
What time is this? Get back to me
Just
at 1 a.m.
imagine.
But yes, we can announce that the inaugural winner of the Type 40 Companion of the Year award is Mr. Peter Capaldi.
Well done.
Peter
Why
Capaldi
did he win it?
came in-
What was he nominated for? Was there any
Charity,
specific?
wasn't
I can't
it?
remember.
Charity work.
This was your nomination, Sarah. So remind us again why you nominated Peter Capaldi and what.
He is the face of a charity in London. I believe it's the Noah's Ark Hospice, and it's for babies and little children.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, he's just, still being that doctor, even though he's not playing him anymore.
He'll always be the Doctor to me. He'll always be the last Doctor to me. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's not been a great deal of filming of anything gone on this year. But of course, earlier on in 2020, he wrapped up filming the sequel to Suicide Squad, which is called The Suicide Squad for Warner Brothers DC Films, where he plays the Thinker in this.
Hang on a minute. Instead of calling it Suicide Squad, they're calling it The Suicide Squad and hoping we get.
Yeah. Well, originally when they announced it, it was a complete reboot. But when you look at the cast list, most of the cast of Suicide Squad are in the sequel, playing the same people. So the story does continue. So yes, it is a sequel. Even though James Gunn is a big filmmaker, it's perfectly all right for him to make a sequel. I don't know what the problem was, but yes, Peter Capaldi's he's wrapped filming that, but he has continued to be patron of several charities and continue to be a really stand-up guy. We haven't heard a huge amount from him, but he made some fantastic statements, particularly during the tweet-along events. Really sort of, how can I put this? The kind of statement that made you think that, this guy really is the Doctor, really knows the character inside out, understands the fan base,
Yeah, of course it does.
and is just a really nice and genuine person. Who, obviously actors are actors. I think that there's a lot of actors out there who believe that we should be listening to what they say because they're used to getting people's attention. But in Peter Capaldi's case, I think he's genuinely a very warm man, and I think the affection is completely real, and he just gives back what he's received from us in the same way that I think Tom Baker does, and he definitely belongs to this sort of line of classic.
Don't forget, Dan Capaldi is one of us. He is a fan, and he's an old school fan. I mean, he goes back to Troughton, doesn't he? So,
So, yes, Peter, congratulations. I know we've been chomping at the bit for this result. He's probably there looking at his smartphone for the last 2 or 3 weeks, wondering if he's going to go his way or not.
And Mr. Capaldi, you'll be receiving your Stick of Celery award in the post very soon.
Yeah, and Alex says that Peter had so much untapped potential in the role.
Yes.
I think he probably did. You know, and I think that's true of both him and Matt Smith.
The brilliant thing about Capaldi, though, is he did what an actor should do. And when he was given a bad script, he recognized it and did his utmost best to make it into a passable script through performance. And that's what some actors can't do.
Being able to polish a turd. Yes, it's a skill. It's definitely a skill that some of them have got to do on the fly. Derek Brady's met him. He's here in the chat. Says he was lovely to us fans when we met him in Hull filming David Copperfield.
Oh, did anyone see that film, that version?
No, I haven't.
Dear.
He's worked solidly as he was before Doctor Who. Good choice with Capaldi, says PD Rich. He was brilliant as the 13th Doctor in Lego Dimensions.
There he is with his Lego again, yeah.
Like obsessed here. And Duncan Shaw says they should do a special with all of the Doctors in a big finished production as their final. I think they're always doing that.
They're always doing that. Nothing special about that at all.
Yeah, I think it's run a special every week, isn't there?
Yes, I'm saying nothing special.
Yeah, it's sort of the novelty's worn off now of hearing them all together, isn't it?
Yeah, they do several. Jodie McWilliams is back. Hi, Jodie. Merry Christmas. I'm a huge Capaldi fan. You can tell he knows and loves.
Absolutely, Jodie.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Our final word is, I think this statement pretty much sums it up. What I was chewing over about 2 or 3 minutes ago, trying to spit it out. I think Vanessa summed it up quite well here in the chat. Peter is always a class act. I think it really is. I think it really is that simple.
He got the bum deal, though. It's a shame.
Regardless, and and maybe he feels the same way as we do about that, but he doesn't let it colour his conduct.
That's right.
He is who he is. He knows he's the Doctor. He loves being the Doctor. Whether it's playing the Doctor on TV or whatever else.
He's very similar to Colin Baker in that respect, and it's interesting because the 12th Doctor was a very similar character to the 6th Doctor, and the two actors are very similar the same. They both kind of got a bit of a bum deal, arguably, depending on what side of the argument you fall down on, and yet they still are just the best possible ambassadors you could have for the show.
They are. You're right.
Loyal to it right the way through, both of them.
Fingers crossed that's maybe in the next one, in the next celebration of Doctor Who, they'll bring Peter back as the Doctor. I'd love to see him again as the Doctor. I really would.
What, you wouldn't? It's not going to happen.
I know, but we can all hope, right? We can all hope, right?
Hey, this is about Eccleston. You never know. Yeah.
No, let's talk about that after Christmas. I've got theories and ideas.
Yes, we did say that about Eccleston. Everybody said that about Eccleston. Eccleston said that about Eccleston.
Yeah, but Eccleston's only gone back to audio, which doesn't count.
Yes.
No, you're right, JT. I totally agree with you, mate. Totally.
Yes.
Controversial.
It's an indicator, but yes, obviously the multi-Doctor stories. We talked about this actually quite recently, didn't we, Sarah? On the Type 40 Doctor Who podcast, we talked about multi-Doctor stories at some length. Myself, Sarah, and Simon on the big comeback show that's launched season 3 of Type 40, a Doctor Who podcast, and we speculated about multi-Doctor stories and the fact that they've, up until really quite recently, you could count how many multi-Doctor stories there'd been on the fingers of one hand. And now, because of audio, because of other expanded universe thing, they seem to be 10 a penny. But yes, Sarah, we talked about whether it was whether the audio stories were affecting in the long term the novelty value of doing them on screen. If we've already heard it several times, then it would diminish the value of seeing it. And can you remember what you said on the show? Actually. No, she can't remember. But you know what?
Did we even talk about that?
She doesn't need to remember because you can go and listen. There'll be a link in the description to that episode.
Nice link there.
Rubbish advert for the podcast.
I like what you did there.
Let's be honest. That, in my case, that superbly phrased question there from me. Sarah answers that beautifully. The Type 40 Doctor Who podcast, episode 69, which the link will be in the description to there. It's out there now on the feeds for people to hear. Here we are. It's this episode. It's called Back in Time, and it's our season 3 premiere edition. Do you remember recording it, Sarah?
Yeah.
She just about remembers recording that. But yes, we had a laugh recording that, and so that's out there now. But that's not the cover. That's not the cover. I'm getting a little bit bored with these covers, guys, because they're all starting to look the same. So
They have been for ages.
That was the Type 40 cover. The cover you've got to look out for is this. That's the brand new Type 40 that we're launching this week. That's our new look Type 40, the new look Type 40 logo and house dress for the podcasts going forward. So it's Type 40 is a Spacebook production for the Fandom Podcast Network, and this is the first of our Series 3. So yeah, we've gone, how can you put this, into the vortex.
Love that.
There. So yes, that's the relaunch. Look out for that, and it'll be more Doctor Who content on the channel too. Thumbs up there, Simon. You like that?
Oh, I love the new logo. That's fab. And this is the first time any of us have seen this. And I love the fact that you've got the vortex in the background there. That's Doctor Who for me, is the vortex.
Nice font.
Yeah, the font is fantastic.
I'm getting the Pertwee vibes. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Definitely.
one of my favourite Doctors. John Pertwee's one of my favourite. I love that.
Yeah, I agree. And I love that. That chunky logo is very sort of reminiscent of the Third Doctor.
Yeah, so look out for that. And there's another episode dropping in just a few days' time as well. That's our missing episode special, which I know some people have messaged me to ask me about that. So that's coming up too. Yeah, Type 40, a Doctor Who podcast. Look out across social media for everything that's coming with that too.
Dan, you got to look at Mega Neutrobite's little comment there. That's a cool comment.
Okay.
Best. Yes. Just coming at 5:53. Hey,
you're right. You've redecorated. I don't like it. Funnily enough, someone cracks that gag on the show, don't they? Listen to it and find out. There's lots more other episodes recorded. We've recorded the entire block to launch season 3. There'll be more coming up. We've got some more messages in the chat here. Who else? We've got proper artwork. Thank you, Retro Dicky. And I'm not even sure what this means, but since it's getting late in the show, I'm going to put it up anyway. What
does that
mean? No idea what he's talking about.
Dan, can I just add a comment to what you were saying there about the multi-Doctor stories? And are they too much and what have you? Well, there's several issues with them now, isn't it? For one thing is, you're assuming that everybody listens to the audios where we don't. So that doesn't have an impact on what's going to be visual. Secondly, the public don't listen to the audio, so they'd like to see, as Simon said a few weeks ago, they would like to see some of the old Doctors back. And the biggest problem you've got now, and this is what I fear for 2023, which is coming along very quickly, is that you now have a new era of Doctors we've never seen before and have never contributed to the series. And
there's about 1 million of them now, isn't there?
Exactly. So that whole thing there is that's what's ruined the whole thing. You don't have the magic 12 anymore because you've got 6,000 million billion zillion to do that. So
what we're going to call it.
That's what's going to take the momentum away from any future thing, and that's what's going to alienate the public even more because they won't recognize any of these characters.
I think also, JT, what you're saying is quite correct, and because we saw so many Doctors in that last series, we saw so many Doctors, it just felt like everybody was actually the Doctor. So it's just diluted. I myself was Incarnation 604. I don't know about you guys. I mean, having said all that, let's just stop for a second and think about it. If you were actually to bring back, let's say, Paul McGann, Eccleston, Tennant, Matt Smith, Capaldi, are we seriously saying that the public wouldn't go, I'll have a bit of that?
They would watch, they would tune in, and that would be a huge thing. But they're not going to watch people that they've never heard of. They're certainly not going to watch something where it's going just now. You're not going to get a good story with the current writing force. But I certainly, if it was something like that, Simon, I would tune in for. Because I don't follow Big Finish, so I don't know. I hear the fact that they've all been together on several million stories, but it doesn't impact my enjoyment of what would be a visual treat.
Yes, I agree.
What's going on the TV, farting new Doctors into existence and growing a bond between, because this is why we love our Doctors. This is why we love our Doctors, why we bond with them, why we use that expression, that's my Doctor, because you live with them for 2, 3, 4 seasons. The bond grows between the audience and the cast. And
it used to.
You attach, and they take on this cultural significance, not just with the show itself, but the broader popular culture. At the moment, Doctor Who is a show that on television has no leading star, and that is why somebody like Peter Capaldi, Peter Capaldi's been easily romped home with our companion of the year, but both David Tennant over on audio and in books. Everything Expanded Media has been about David Tennant, and they've even pushed, because they need something to lead the show and to lead the brand. We've also had this year, you know, this Dalek series. I'm the only person. I know I'm the only person who's probably watched all of this. I've got the final one left to see, and you know, a review of it is for another time. But this has been generally pushed and promoted in a way that I don't think, and I'm not sure whether it's BBC Studios that promoted this, because obviously it's not attached to a channel other than the YouTube channel. But there's been more publicity for this. There's been a more effective push for it than the TV show in a couple of years. And I think that, if anything, the Emperor Dalek has sort of been the leading man visually over the last 2 or 3 months. I don't think this show was anywhere near as bad as some do. I'll talk about that another time. But yeah, I have noticed that it has made an impact. And personally, what I would do with this, the whole 50-minute thing together, I would probably chop that into 2 25-minute chunks, and I would pop that on. If the animation was a little better, then I would pop that on over the Christmas schedule in the sort of, with the Aardman kind of feel to it, and make it a bit of a showcase of Christmas. I think the Daleks are still enjoyed as characters. They're still recognizable, kind of in their own right. And there's mileage. There is mileage there. And Doctor Who itself is a brand that has no effective lead.
Do you know what, Dan? I would disagree, and we can talk about this fully when we have the ratings for the next episode.
Well, that's the actual TV show that you're talking about now, though.
Absolutely, but what I'm saying is those ratings will indicate whether there is an audience for Doctor Who in 2020 to 21. Because I don't think there is. I think it's gone.
There's definitely affection and audience for the Daleks, and there's creativity surrounding the Daleks constantly. We've got some more. I'm going to call this fan art, and I'm sorry, James, if you're watching this, because to call this fan art seems really slight. But these Daleks are absolutely beautiful. This is James, who calls himself the Pridonian. Over on Deviant Art, and he's got an account on Twitter too, so you can go and see this man's work over there. I think it's beautiful. You know, JT and I, we've talked about this a few times, but look at these Daleks, everybody.
Whoa!
Wow, they're gorgeous.
You know, there's obviously there on the left, you've got the Russell T Davies Dalek there, Sarah, and then next to it, his refresh. So keeping that silhouette perfectly. But just fine-tuning it just enough, just changing the lines to modernize ever so slightly. I just think it's beautiful.
I don't understand why they've changed the shape of the Dalek for the new show. I've seen pictures, and these Daleks are fucking fantastic, aren't they? Look at them.
They're gorgeous. And
they look like proper Daleks.
Yes. That colour, Simon, that colour is gorgeous.
Sexy and they're new. So you can. It just goes to show you can reinvent a classic design and still stay true to it. And really, the BBC needs to see these and realise they completely dropped the ball for the second time running with the Daleks. You know, there's the Dalek that was made out of a colander and an egg whisk in Resolution, and then they've done it again in the latest one. What's the latest one called? I can't even remember what it's called.
Revolution of the Daleks.
Revolution of the Daleks.
Very confusing. Very similar titles for the two Chibnall
well, it's because he's got no ideas, JT. Remember, he has said this. He's been honest and said, I haven't got any ideas.
That's true.
If you think that looks pretty, that's just the concept picture. Check it.
Absolutely.
Check these 3D ones out. This is...
Wow, they're great. They're absolutely terrific.
I would buy them.
What's interesting about the helmet? It almost looks like a Nazi helmet. It looks
That's
like
what's been pointed out. Yeah, actually,
the dome. The head dome looks like a Nazi helmet.
Some of the fans pointed that out, and I think James turned around and said it was unintentional. But it's the same as some of the fans have said. If you look at the slats around the waistline, they look like bones. And again, that wasn't intentional either.
Is there a significance to the colour of the Daleks, or is it just that can be any colour?
Well, there was, Ian. There was the significance in that there was the Black Dalek that they literally used to refer to as the Black Dalek. That's what he was called because he was black. There was a significance, but it's all very arbitrary and dependent on the story.
Was the Black Dalek? Was there something special about it? Was he evil?
It was the Supreme Dalek.
Depends which era you're watching in, isn't it? Depends which era.
Yeah.
Right.
He, as JT says, he was the Supreme Dalek. So sometimes they call him the Black Dalek, sometimes it'd be the Supreme Dalek. This goes to just way back to Billy Hartnell days. This is the Dalek invasion of Earth, 64.
But it just goes to prove, right, that the fans, you know what, these filmmakers and TV makers, they should be listening to the fans, because the fans have got some really awesome ideas, and it's such a shame that they don't listen to the fans, because oh my god, my heart is broken with this new Doctor Who. You know, that's why I can't watch it. I can't watch this new.
I'll tell you the other thing I love about these Daleks here. These Daleks to me are the right colors, because you can actually imagine a story in your head where that thing comes out and gets you from the dark, because it's just hidden. I mean, the bronze ones for me look very nice, and yes, they were marketable, but they didn't really hit the word Dalek for me. Whereas we've said before, you know, the Daleks I love are the genesis of the Daleks. That color is just, but these hit it for me because they could come and get you very quickly out of the dark.
Remember, we had that show, Dan. Remember, we had that show. We were talking about what we would change about Doctor Who, and I said, if I was in charge of Doctor Who and I had the Daleks, I'd like to change them slightly to make them look more menacing. This one looks like Darth Vader. This one looks menacing. You know what I mean? It really does.
He really does.
There's an element of the Dalek Trooper helmets here going on. Yeah. If you look back at Resurrection of the Daleks, the Dalek Trooper, it just moves the Daleks on that little bit without bastardizing the origin.
That's right.
Yeah. Unlike the one that's in Revolution.
Absolutely. I mean, that's gorgeous. And what work is this?
That's what I'm saying. It looks terrific. It absolutely looks terrific. And why can't they do it like this? This is so. I can't. This really annoys me, and it breaks my heart that what they're doing to Doctor Who now. That's why I will not watch anymore, because I don't want my heart broken even more.
I mean, look at that one. That would show what they're like on an alien planet in the day.
Exactly.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
And fantastic color scheme, as Simon said. Look at them. And they look menacing as well, especially with those claw things. They look menacing.
And look at the weaponry there. Look at the gunny, and that looks sturdy. That looks solid. It looks stout. And it looks like it could actually find you, no matter where you were trying to hide, and if you couldn't really run. And all the lines that have been changed on this, all the little design details, the little nips and tucks, are all beautifully judged.
I love the idea. Obviously, that episode Dalek was the thing that made me appreciate the Dalek even more. I love the idea that bullets can't penetrate them; they stop halfway because they've got that force field. And and these Daleks, they look so menacing. It's a shame that these Daleks are not. Oh, it's a shame that we've got the previous Doctor Who now. But I mean, honestly, they should be looking at the fan stuff now. They really should. They've run out of ideas. The fans have still got ideas.
The issue is, as well, is that a lot of the fan ideas, and these Daleks here are an example of that, do not fit Doctor Who anymore.
I know.
These are better than what's out there. So we'd have to wait for the show to go off and come back with a team that understand the show for anything as beautiful as this to be seen and unleashed to the world, because these are gorgeous.
Well, hopefully I'll be showrunner when it comes back. And, I'll deal with it.
Mega Who, it needs to happen. It has to happen. Because
can I just introduce Christmas Quackers here as well? He wants to get in on the show. So it's Christmas Quackers.
Hello, Christmas Quackers.
There we go.
Yes, because we don't want to be stuck with these.
Oh, those ones are awful.
Oh, Dan, why did you have to?
Right. Can I ask, guys? Do you know about that one that we've just seen? Am I right in saying that they're not the Daleks, but as part of the story, they are a human version of a Dalek?
JT, I don't care.
No, I don't either. But
you're confusing me with somebody that gives a damn.
I was trying, as part of this Christmas show, to give them a benefit of the doubt, but I was trying to be nice for once about this horrid era that we're in.
The Prydonians Daleks have gone down very, very well in the chat. Kelly says those are very, very handsome.
Yeah, but they'll still kill you.
Both colours and the finish are wonderful, says Vanessa. And Stephen, Mega Neurobyte. Oh, looks like RTD plus NPD together. Well done. I don't know what NPD is. Somebody let me know what NPD is. There are far better artists and fans out there who are greater than the BBC. I don't think anybody would really.
I mean, they
won't. Now, those are sexy Daleks, unlike Chibnall's reimagining.
Yeah,
They weren't concerned. I mean, they literally destroyed the Doctor. Now they've gone back and have destroyed the Daleks as well.
Yeah.
That's their motivation.
The Daleks were always supposed to be tanks in a sense, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because they housed the mutant, the last of their race, and those that the Pridonian have done there, that James has done, actually sum up that history beautifully. I mean, I'm so impressed by those. They're just gorgeous and very marketable, very, very marketable.
We have the evolution of the Daleks.
Yeah,
you're gonna love this, everybody. Out of our panel here on Type 40, this time we have this comment here. I would support anyone on this panel as showrunner over Chris Chibnall. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Please tell the BBC.
And we have
hate us all, Simon. That's the problem. The BBC would not allow any of us anywhere near this. So.
And Megan Eurobyte, this is the last one. Dan, you simply must post these on the Type 40 page. Of course I will. Anybody wants to have a closer look at all of these, they will be in the Type 40 Facebook group, the page, and all the social media accounts. I'm going to put a link to follow James, his Twitter account, and see all his artwork. That'll all be in the description to this live stream too. We're not going to leave you hanging. You can follow his work from here. Beautiful stuff. He doesn't just do Daleks either.
Zippy!
Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas from Zippy.
No, he's not. No,
right.
I might try and get him on the show. Who knows?
Yeah.
Got a little bit more fan art here before we wind up.
Great.
I thought you'd all like to see this because this ties in to something else. But this is brand new from I think you could probably call him legendary Doctor Who artist, Alistair Pearson.
Oh, wow.
Latest illustration. That is the cover to the Celestial Toy Room's 2021 yearbook.
That should be a page. That should be a page in a 2022 calendar, shouldn't it?
Yes, it should.
Come on, Alistair, you've done them before. you've got a few months to get the others going. Just 12 pages, please.
It's really cool.
You can get this as a colour or as a black and white print, Simon.
Have you got the colour version to look at? I'd love to see it in colour.
I haven't, but it will be because Alistair's in the Type 40 Facebook group. So if we ask him nicely, Alistair, share some more images of this, please. But yes, there's a picture. There's a picture of him holding the canvas, I think it is. So fantastic. I thought that was
what I love that we see an awful lot of CGI art, and I understand that has its place. But it's great to see the likes of Alistair still there with a paintbrush and his inks and doing that properly. And that's probably one of the best second Doctors I've seen Alistair do. That was beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
It's nice to see the hat. It's nice to see that stovepipe hat.
Yeah. Lovely.
Don't see that very often in photos, let alone artwork.
No, but there's just about 2 or 3, isn't there, where that hat's in it? From Planet of the
Daleks and the Highlanders. I think that might actually be it. Actually,
I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah, because he got rid of it fairly quickly.
It's a shame. It's a shame that people at the BBC don't listen to the fans. I mean, the amount of passion that's coming out just from us here, and you can imagine the amount of passion that comes out from other, people that love Doctor Who.
They hate the fans, because you know what I mean. They want Doctor Who just to be loved by the public. They don't want it to be loved by fans. The fans are just a thorn in their flesh.
They do love by the public.
They are public, though. That's the thing.
But they are watching. So hi, BBC Studios. Thank you very much. You should listen to us. We'll get you back on track with the public, honestly.
I just look. You know what?
A genuine Merry Christmas, guys.
I hope that they come to their senses and get rid of this error, and Doctor Who comes back on track. But it will
eventually. I guarantee it will. It'll just take a while.
It's going to take a lot. We might even know towards sometime of this year if there's any indications.
There's a seam of love still out there to be tapped in, and there's a mine full of talent, huge amount of talent from creative people, as we've just seen from the Pridonian, and writers like Ian here, and creatives, TV industry insiders like the gentleman to my right here. There's lots and lots of talent out there, lots and lots of it. Talking of which, Simon, I'm talking about the Doctor Who Appreciation Society. This is still out there. People can grab this. It's a free download. Tell us what's this all about again, Simon, and where you come into it.
Oh, well, since you forced me to tell you about it again. Yes, there's my little bit of fiction in there, past imperfect. Go and grab it from the Doctor Who Appreciation Society website. Download it. It's completely free. And my little story's in there. And I have to say, I'm quite chuffed with my little story. So please go and read it and go on the Hoonatics Facebook page and let me know what you thought of it.
Graham Robertson's beautiful artwork as well. Loving what's coming out of the Doctor Appreciation Society at the moment. They've had a little time away, but I'm really liking the shape
Some of the
this,
stuff they're doing is all right.
how fan-led it is, though. I think that's quite important to their survival going forward. I think it's nice that Doctor Who still has an official Appreciation Society because there are lots and lots of them. They became corporate, didn't they? And the Doctor Who's hasn't somehow. For a while I was in two minds about that, but I think it could be a good thing now. I think it could be a good thing now. Okay, I think this.
There's an episode of that for debating that for the New Year. I can tell you.
Yeah.
There's lots of debates to come in Type 40, but yeah, that is the last Type 40 live of this run. We will be back. It'd be silly to stop with it. So we will be back next year, traveling in both time and space. Where will we end up? Your best way of making sure that you find out that you don't miss wherever we materialize has to be by liking this video. Certainly by subscribing to the channel. Subscribe to the Spacebook for lots more Doctor Who talk. Some of it live, some of it not. And with some of these voices and faces and some of our other friends and companions there from out there in social media or, well, all over the place, really. Inside TV, people from the TV industry, they come on too. And yes, we'll be he's going off to watch K9 and Company.
Again.
Subscribe to the
only Christmas special you
if
need.
you would. I hope. That means you hit the like button and turn on the Christmas bell so you get those notifications. In the meantime, there's lots more coming up on the channel. Of course there is, such as our regular live streams about other shows and movies. So we're talking about Star Wars, The Mandalorian with the Mega Geek here.
And R.I.P. Dame Barbara.
One episode of The Mandalorian left to come on the most recent live stream. We talked about that. We talked about the Game of Thrones prequel that's just cast a former Doctor in there, and we pay tribute to the beautiful, the wonderful, and much missed Dame Barbara Windsor on that. And there is 3 episodes of Teleporter Blake 7 podcast for all you Blake 7 fans out there. More classic British science fiction and my conversations with Blake 7 fans. And somebody from Big Finish there too. So there'll be more of those to come. Lots more already been recorded. Can't get enough Blake 7 talk. And Type 40 itself, Type 40. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, all those places. And it's now on Pandora too. As ever, you can get in touch with us through our social medias, Instagram and Twitter at Type40 Doctor Who. Even email us, type40doctorwho@gmail.com. And if you're feeling really brave, fancy some real-time, extra-dimensional chit-chat, you can compare Christmas jumpers or share pictures of any seasonal Who swag that comes your way this season. Step into the...
There's not much available, Dan. I have to say, as a merchandise freak, there's not much available that's going to be in anybody's merchandise swag this Christmas.
You can hit eBay. Gifting from eBay.
Good response. Good response there, everybody.
In the Type 40 Facebook group, and of course, you can find me. I'm scattered throughout all of space and time, but mostly on Twitter and Instagram as the Spacebook, where I talk not just about Doctor Who, but about everything else in popular culture, whatever catches my imagination or both. Simon, over the Christmas period, where can people find you hanging out on social media?
Oh, well, you probably won't find me hanging out on social media at all. I should be enjoying Christmas, thank you very much. But if you want to come and say hello, come on to the Facebook page of the Hoonatics. Go onto Facebook, find the Hoonatics. You'll find me there. But I will not be there because I should be enjoying Christmas.
Turkey time. That's what it is.
Sarah, how about you? What are your present contact details?
You can find me on Parler. I'm quite enjoying being on there. It's so much nicer than Twitter.
Parler.
Also on a few streams this weekend. I'm doing another Doctor Who Christmas special show on Doctor Who Chat, so I'll just plug that on Friday night because I just love talking about Doctor Who Christmas specials. On Sunday, I think it is, Script Doctors, are you still in the chat? We're doing a live script read of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is going to be
excellent.
How long is that going to be?
Yeah.
A few hours, viewers.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And yeah, in case I'm going to plug this again. Of course, yes, we've got all these episodes of Type 40 Doctor Who podcast. You can find those all in those places on our master feed, and look out for Type 40 episode 69. That's actually out there now, but this is the artwork to look out for going forward. You'll find that all over the place going forward. And yeah, there will be more Type 40 live somewhere, somehow. This last 3 months, Ian, it started out as just a one-off, wasn't it? Type 40 Live run the show, where we had some of our friends from across various YouTube channels. In fact, a couple of them in the chat today. And it's become this sort of thing, this Tuesday afternoon conversation, leading us right the way up to Christmas. And
Can I say for a minute that I thought you were going to go off. It all started as a small adventure in a junkyard.
No, but I've had a lot of fun over the last 2 or 3 months talking about all this stuff. So I just wanted to say thank you, everybody, for joining in. Thank you to everybody in the chat. And yeah, there'll be more conversations coming up next year, no doubt.
Merry Christmas.
Yes. Don't forget to bring it and tune in next year. It'll be a stale mince pie.
That's describing the show, isn't it? A stale mince pie. That's what it is.
Yeah, let's close out. Let's close out on an image. Yeah, that's our Doctor Who. That's our Type 40 companion of 2020. Peter Capaldi there. There he is.
Oh, we love Peter.
Yep.
Yeah. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you from all of us. We're going to wave bye-bye now. But
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
It's been a great show. And we always have the time. If you have the space here on Type 40, have a fantastic Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching.
Goodbye.